Hi, how are you today? Okay, so I am troubleshooting a fix to the issue I'm having with showing the comments on the screen in terms of seeing all of the comments. So we'll see if anybody does comment, if I can make that work today. Um, what we'll be doing is I want to address some of the allegations and rumors about the JT Allen situation today, as well as watch a post that JT Allen posted about Mono from another person's perspective. We'll see what was said there. But before we do that, with the JT Allen situation, what we're going to do is look at the allegations, look at some court records that I think are relevant in terms of why people are making these statements potentially. But we'll discuss everything. And then we will discuss also not those allegations, but different allegations that he did admit to. And we'll discuss potential legal ramifications of those as well, as it's all related. And then we will basically finish off with back on that Just Nobody exposure page, and we'll go watch that other video, and maybe we'll see how much time I have after all of that, and maybe we'll watch more. I don't know, depending, something like that. But yeah, and so yeah. Oh, and before we do all of that, I'll just show you guys I am testing an extension from Google Chrome. Let's see, will it show here? It's called Live Chat Overlay, but I don't really know how to work it. I might test this for a few different live streams and see if I can get this to work before I try another option. But if you know of any ways to fix the issue I'm having with the live chat, let me know, please. But yeah, so what I'm trying to do is, right now I've figured out how to show the chat on the screen. When it comes to using OBS and just copying and pasting the live link from the chat. But I was seeing if I could figure out like the overlay situation. But right now I'm not able to get that to work. Like whenever I try to pull up the chat, it's just like not even showing anything when I try to use this extension for it, for the URL it wants me to use. So what I need to do is figure out, like, if I'm doing something wrong. It might take me a few times to troubleshoot that, but for now I'll probably end up having to put back in the regular link that I'm using. But I'm waiting to see if someone does comment. We'll see if I can pull it up right. But yeah. Okay, so anyway, moving on, I'm testing that, and moving on, I'm just going to basically roll my intro now, and then I'll go ahead and before I jump into the allegations, I will show a video that was posted on the Just Nobody page about those allegations regarding, from JT Allen. So yeah, all right, we'll get started and do all of that, and we'll just see how long it takes us. Hi, my name is Alexis, also known as Lexie or Deaf Child. I was born deaf, hard of hearing. I began doing business as Deaf Child 2013, marketing 2011, sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales. My Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor. Deafness runs in my family genetically. Speech is not fully accessible to me. Anyway, I'm here to bitch about whatever the fuck is on my mind. So here we go. Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. Okay, so first of all, we are going to start off with... Oh, exposure is here. Okay, I can see if it's working. The chat is not working. Okay, the thing that I was trying. I'll have to try that a different way another time. Hey, exposure. Stick around, and then if you need to clear up anything else when I'm done, please let me know. But you are aware of those allegations being thrown around about you, right? And so that's why I wanted to address it. If that's I know I didn't get tell exposure that I was doing this, I just kind of decided to up and do it. But exposure, just stick around, and then if you have any issue with anything I say, I would love to address that as we go. But just wait a minute. I don't know if you'll be mad at this. You might not like everything I say, but I don't think you'll be mad at this. Maybe I'm wrong. I just wanted to do a few things here. I wanted to show why people say this. Where are people getting any of this from? And you know what sucks for John Thomas Allen? And I honestly, you putting this out here, putting this full out here, and actually kind of confirms the public records I found on you. But so now I'm like, okay, so that was right. But anyway, so fucking sorry, I'm distracted. But you know, your name is no, I know what you're saying, exposure. Just give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But I feel bad for you because your name is like, imagine being named Billy Bob Smith. That's what John Thomas Allen is. Like, so many people have this name. So what I want to do, we're going to start off, we're going to watch this video you posted, and then we're going to get into the records that I think you're going to feel much better after. But because this rumor goes around so much, I figured, you know, let me just throw this out here so that way people can find the records themselves and then make an informed decision. You know what I'm saying? Because as exposure is saying, like, if that were the case, I have seen no evidence or public records to back that statement up. No one's ever shown any evidence. And I want to review the only things that I could find related to it. And exposure said yes, it is a very common name. Right. Okay, let's get into this video real quick, and then we'll go over everything. Yeah. Alright. Oh, and I also figured, because there are people with that name who do happen to be charged with certain things, this video could be helpful either way. So it clears up who is not the one that did those things with that name versus who is the ones that did that thing with those names. Because I can show y'all the pictures of the ones who actually did these things. And that way you are aware yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you can make informed decisions for everybody can make their own choices, decisions. I got all my links in the description of the video. What I want to add in the description is the links for the live chat overlay in case I can get it to work or if anybody knows how to troubleshoot it for me. But I'm still working on getting that going if I can. Hopefully that will help, because right now my issue is whenever I've figured out how to get this chat in general to show up by copying and pasting the pop-out link from YouTube on the back end. But what I cannot figure out how to do is in here, there's no way for me to change this from top chat to live chat so I can see all of the chats on this screen, which is kind of frustrating me because, I mean, sometimes it does happen to show everything, but sometimes it doesn't. And it's like, damn, man, I feel gaslit because I know it was there, you know? But whatever. Okay, we're gonna actually watch this fucking video now. My bad. Oh, exposure said, honestly, if you're going to show the real offenders are, I'll spread awareness towards that any day. Yeah, we are going to be doing that. That's the first thing we'll be doing after we play this first video, and then we'll get to your other videos and after we go through this material. So yeah. Alrighty, here we go.
Yeah, I know I'm creepy. I know my story don't make sense. But the question is, would the FBI really raid somebody's house 3 different times? Or would they book that motherfucker that's actually a pedophile, not me?
Right, that point. The FBI isn't gonna raid, they're not, like, legally, if the FBI were actually raiding your house a bunch of times and there were no charges made, more than 2 or 3 times, by that 3rd time, you're going to be able to press charges on them for antagonizing you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's not legally like a thing. If there are no charges made and you're getting raids over and over again, then that kind of shows there's something else happening there. Versus like if you get a raid or two and you do get found guilty of some shit, that's different. But there's no records or anything like that to indicate, you know, I've seen no victims come out. I've seen no, you know, I wouldn't gaslight a victim. I have seen no evidence of anything beyond what he admitted himself. And we'll address that again today, in a bit. But, you know, just to address it, like, as it's relevant to the potential allegations, but not, you know, like, I don't know. It's just gonna come up. But, yeah, like, in terms of the allegations right here, where he's, like, they're saying, oh, he's the one that's been investigated by the FBI and all of that, I can prove that I believe these were entirely different JT Allen's accused of those things, I believe. So we'll go into that next. But yeah. And my captioner, I was going to minimize the screen and go away, but my fucking captioner is like, extra one is being real weird lately. So I'm just going to, this one is working a little better. I don't know.
Because I will never be one. Tell me what y'all think. Wouldn't they document that kind of stuff if I went? Wouldn't it show up on a record? That stuff's public information, is it not? I don't got nothing to hide. My name is John Thomas Allen.
Y'all know the lyrics to this song. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes be mad at Megan's Law.
I was born 1996, 1996. I live in Lubbock, Texas. Is there any more detail I should provide? I get it. I traumatized a lot of people. But the only person I really did anything to was Kriss. I didn't do anything to you, Lucy. I didn't do nothing to anybody else. If I did,
see, that's why I said it was going to come up again.
I'd apologize like a man would. And I've said sorry over 1,000 times to Ohidaka. So I'll say this, I'm sorry I took a picture of you eating a sandwich. That was wrong on my behalf. But I am trying to become a better person and improve myself from being weird. Hell, honestly, I just want to learn about my northern 1% native that's in my bloodline. Is there anything wrong with that?
I would say, like, in terms of the last part, as it relates to general Native community, your connection to your culture needs to be done. It's much better done off this platform. This platform can be a tool to connect with other people in your community, but once you link up with them, I would take it off this platform and see what you can do. Because for me, my cultural connection has been much better since like I got more involved with trying to learn my language, and talking to my cousins privately, and like discussing history and learning and getting access to more sources that I wouldn't have otherwise, you know? TikTok is just, you can't even properly share links on TikTok. It's just not the place to really get a lot of the cultural information and connection you're going to get or could get otherwise. And there's also an issue with each tribe. You know what? This is entirely separate from what we're going to get into, but we're going to get into this real quick. Let's look this up. So, if you look at like some of the maps of like some of the is this one good? I don't know. Like if you look at some of the maps of like the Native American tribes that were here before, if I can find a good one, shit, that's not working for me. Oh, okay. Maybe I should have pre-prepped this, but okay. If you kind of think about the history of the colonialism of America, if you want to put it there. Can we kind of see this? I don't know. It's just as good as we're gonna get. So if you think about it, like on the East Coast and down here, like on the, if you're in the islands, you may have met these bitches, you know, in the 1400s in terms of the Europeans, but a lot of us on the East Coast, it was around 1500s, 1600s, and then in terms of the United States, I don't know like the rest of the people's history, fuck it, but and then once they met us, once they invaded over here in like the 1500s, 1600 on the mainland, if you want to, for lack of better words, whatever, the colonized United States we know today, it was, they kind of started expanding from here from 1600s to like the 1700s. They went more east, then towards the 1700s to 1800s, you know, 16, 17, 1800s, they were expanding through the Mississippi River towards the Midwest. And then we get the 1700s and the 1800s to when the United States, British colonizers take and end up trying to get over here towards the West Coast, kind of basically, roughly, loosely, good enough ish, right? You know, if you want to place it in those timelines. Right, I feel like Turtle Island though encompasses so much. It includes parts of Mexico and everything too. So I'm kind of focusing on like what became known as the United States rather than all of the colonizers of Turtle Island, because there's also the French, there's also the Spanish, but whatever. You know what I mean? Um, but fucking, but fucking, uh, so then we got Alaska up in here. And I feel like with that timeline, each tribe has a different way of accepting their community based on the genocide that happened at the time period it happened to them. And I feel where each person comes from that is Native American and their tribe's history with the colonizers directly impacts each person's perspective on like the entire aspects of genocide, from the lineage, from who should be native, from whether blood quantum is important to them or lineage is important to them, all of that. I feel that is always entirely shaped by their own genocide. And that's why, like, to a point, even when I disagree with people, I don't sit there and try and, like, I don't know, kind of argue with people about how they feel about something I don't agree with, if that makes sense when it comes to those issues. But also, with that being said, because of that, each each tribe has a different, you know, qualification and different ways of oh, you said you are talking to your people messenger. That's great. Okay, so each tribe, they do have their own qualifications and on who they claim as their community for those reasons, right? So that's why a lot of people who do have Native American ancestry, they may not fit the criteria for being enrolled or being recognized by their community. So sometimes, you know, when people only have like 1% ancestry, they get kind of rejected in a way. And then sometimes when people, even if they only have 1%, they're still seeing, people are like, they don't care. Like, if you know who your native ancestors are, you're still native. So you're going to see both sides of that no matter what, no matter where you go. And I just kind of like, I allow people to have their own opinions because I feel it's directly tied to the genocide of where they came from. And I'm not going to sit there and argue with someone about their trauma. But even if I disagree about like some of the things sometimes some people say, but I don't know, you know what I mean? But yeah, so if, you know, people know that you're not like as native as them is what they'll say, there's always going to be people who tell you you're not native enough. But you just kind of have to go with what your community is letting you know to say, and kind of focus more on community claiming you than TikTokers telling you who you are, who you're not, you know? Okay, sorry for that ramble. Anyway, so back to the rest of these allegations. We're gonna address the like FBI offender raid thing. as well as the Kriss situation. Again, just to kind of address it all from a legal perspective this time. So first and foremost, these are the 3 different John Thomas Allens on the sex offender registry. None of these men match the public records that I did find on the John Thomas Allen in question here. But what is interesting is you'll notice, so you see this guy right here at the top, this John Thomas Allen. I believe he's the same guy as this, if I'm not mistaken. But so this guy, you know, he was arrested for engaging with a teenager. Let's see if I can improve the visual of this. So this guy was arrested, you know, when he was 25 for engaging with a teenager, and things of that nature. And so sometimes, you know, maybe that could be like, sometimes like when you Google John Thomas Allen in general, these are the things that pop up. These are the charges, you know, when you just Google his name. So I'm wondering if like sometimes people are Googling John Thomas Allen, they're looking at the fucked up things that show up and they're not paying attention to the facts of these cases, the age range, etc., the years, etc. And then they're just the time frame, the place, everything, the person, the images, and then they're just kind of implying or acting like it is this John T. Allen. And it's like it's very similar to where the Andrew Moreno situation, happens to be a lot of Andrew Morenos that are offenders that are not the Andrew Moreno we are talking about. Those are two different people. You know, so it's very similar where people will look, they'll see someone has the same name as someone they're trying to call out with charges, and then they'll accuse the person or imply or act like the person they don't like is the person with these charges, and it's not even the same fucking person. And then what's also interesting is depending on how they do that, like if they do it without an image or without directly implying it's this guy, even though they're kind of indirectly implying it, then he can't do anything. Because at that point, they could be like, oh, I was talking about this other person. But if they are directly using his image and directly saying, no, it is this guy, then he may have a case of defamation. If he can prove, you know, if they can't prove that he ever did anything, and he's like, yeah, like you can't prove, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because that's actually kind of a big deal. And that's also why I've been telling people, like, if you go through my Andrew Moreno Mono playlist, you'll see I've always said I believe some of the things he said and done is predatory, but I do not believe he's technically a pedophile. And it's for this fucking reason. A lot of people keep calling him that, but I think it's because they're trying to stress the gravity of how much they're against his actions. But it's still like, we do need to, I think, reflect on that. Like, even if we don't like somebody, we can't just, you know, we have to stick to the facts of what they did, because otherwise it gives people room to then discredit you, as well as it doesn't actually hold them accountable for what they actually did. And so then they'll try to weasel out of the accountability for what they actually did as well, in my opinion. But yeah. Or it's just people who don't like someone for someone who is trying to take accountability for what they actually did, but because they know he actually did something, they're just still trying to be like, well, this is who he is, you know? So yeah. So that's an article. This is linked in the description. I'm not going to read it all, but fuck it, y'all get the point. And there's also another person, and this guy, you'll see here, he was 34 in 2016, right? And this is the FBI situation where people are accusing this John Thomas Allen of being part of the FBI raids. So this one is talking about a situation from 2013. If the arrest happened 2016, and at that time they're saying he's 34, which would have made this John Thomas Alice, did I say Alice? The fuck? John Thomas Allen, shit. They're trying to claim then that guy is 44 or some shit today. Y'all can decide for yourself whether or not you think this is a 44-year-old. But honestly, my friend, have you been stressing a lot, or do you just happen, is this rude? Never mind. I was about to ask, do you happen to have always have like a large forehead, or is your hairline receding, my friend? Is that rude though? Because here's the thing, I've experienced some hair loss, so I'm kind of obsessed with hair loss. But I don't know if that was, after hindsight, I realized that's probably a rude thing to say. But yeah, we're here now. So anyway, his username, as you'll notice, is just nobody 1996. So that had led me to believe he was born in 1996. So then I was Googling the public records on him. I was specifically looking for someone born in 1996. And I did find John Thomas Allen in Texas public records. I did not pull up those records here for y'all, but you Google it, you can find it. But, yeah, so he did kind of confirm his information earlier, and I believe, you know, him confirming that does lead me to believe I did find the correct profile for that earlier. He said I am Alice. I don't have hair loss yet. Okay, great. All right. So, you know, I kind of got a big forehead, but my hair just kind of covers it. There's nothing wrong with having a big forehead. But anyway, so people are claiming, you know, that he's the same as these older men, these 44-year-old men. And then there's another article, like, and I'm just bringing it up. Oh, and if you'll notice, it says right here the guys of this, I don't know how to fucking pronounce this. Is it like Harn? I don't know. It says Harn, Kentucky is like where he's from. But it says here, Evansville Police Department, right? Well, when you look here, look who do we have in Evansville, Indiana. And you see here, look where this is from. The Southern District of Indiana, Kentucky man sentenced for possession of, you know, child pornography. But look here, it's the Southern District of Indiana is where this press release and case is filed. Look who we have here, Evansville, yeah. So I believe that would be this guy, right? So far, I believe it's these two guys who, when you Google his name, they, I believe, are two of the top results. A lot of the records about them. And I think people are just looking at the initial results of the SEO without paying attention to the facts of these cases, and then they're accusing it of being this entirely different man, in my opinion. And that's not to say you can't hold him accountable or have opinions about what he did admit to, what he did do. But I'm saying when it comes to these allegations, dude, I don't think this is him. I don't think any of these records are him. And there's also this other article comes up when you look him up. But we're not about to fucking disable our ad blocker. Fuck that. And you may be thinking, what kind of marketing person doesn't want to disable an ad blocker? This one, my friend. So what we're going to do instead is switch to Microsoft Edge, because who the fuck uses that? Anyway, so and now you see this is another article from Courier and Press that comes up, and it's about the same guy that we just saw the other article on, that I just kind of showed you with the visual image that I do not believe is him. The date, the timeline does not make sense, because if this man is 34 in 2016, they're trying to claim, you know, that would make him 44 now, or 43, 44, depending on his birthday. I don't know. So maybe 45. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, so I just don't believe that that's the same person. So now we're gonna go back here. And y'all can kind of see that for yourself there, right? But yeah, so, and again, mind you, that is, I believe, this guy right here, this interesting dude. And there's also a couple other court records that pop up when you Google him, but it's like not even properly formatted. I don't fucking know what the fuck this is, but you know, so we got some other shit from Wisconsin from back in 2003. And you know, what do you know? His name happens to be John fucking Allen. But so this shit also pops up, and it happens to be, you know, about, you know, the same things, sexual assault of a child. So child pornography or child sexual assault or things of that nature do happen to be some charges that other John Allens are accused of. And there's like a 2003 case and then a 2004 appeal and all of that shit that you can find whenever you Google John Allen in general. So that is also there. And whenever you look for the General John Thomas Allen, you'll also find there's another John Thomas Allen that's an active inmate right now. So it's not possible for it to be this John Thomas Allen because he's obviously not in fucking prison right now. But this one was allegedly accused of arson in the 3rd degree. Let's see. Yeah, it was arson in the 3rd degree, and it was criminal mischief in the 1st degree, and wanton endangerment in the 1st degree, which is basically like whenever you do something that could potentially kill somebody or severely injure them. And intent does not have to be proven for that charge. And if you Google in general John Thomas Allen arrest records, you won't see anybody with the same image that does match the John Thomas Allen. And if you Google mugshots, look into the mugshot searches about him, you know, you don't find anybody that matches this John Thomas Allen here. So where the fuck are you? Like right here. You know, nobody matches his image. So that's the thing. I don't know if people just like aren't doing their research, or if there is evidence on him that I don't know about. You know, not to gaslight exposure on your own reality, but you know how it is when some people like want to deny the charges are out there about them. Fucking, you know, unless there's like something out there, like y'all gotta, I haven't seen anybody prove that wrong. You know, so if somebody does have any evidence, please send it to me. Let me know, right? So in terms of those specific types of charges, because I don't believe what you find when you Google his name in general for those cases is this guy. When you look at the backs of the cases, the dates, the timeline, the public record on him, and he's doxed some fucking self. When you look at all of that, it doesn't match up to be the same person, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion. You can form your own conclusion, but all of the links and sources for everything that I've discussed today is linked in the description of the video. And the last thing I want to go over, because he did bring it up in that video we just watched, is the Kriss situation. So, hold on. Let's see, where is this? Exposure says to try Wilkin, he is convinced. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. He's going to keep spreading the information he spreads. I think eventually people will see for themselves whether or not, like, there's one thing to overlook something, because sometimes so much happens, your brain cannot process everything you're being exposed to. But, you know, so it's one thing to overlook something versus eventually people will realize that, wow, this person really isn't looking into the information he shares, and it will just discredit him in the long run. But also, if he does continue to do these things and you know who he is, you could have a legal case on him, and if you wanted to, you could take legal action, I believe, potentially. But that would be up to you. But if you did want to, if you're thinking, oh, I couldn't because I don't have money, if you look for the right attorney, it might take a lot of attorneys searching, but there's a lot of attorneys that will take your case on contingency if you really do have a solid case you can prove you can win. So what you should do is put together your evidence, put together a timeline, put together the metadata to show that it's all valid that you have, you know. And you could potentially have a case. You just have to look for an attorney that will take it on contingency, and it would be a defamation case. So you could look into that. And if you can't find one to take it on contingency, then you might look into a lot of states have like pro bono attorneys, or they'll have attorneys that take you on a sliding scale for low income, and you could look into that as well to see if there's something you could afford, because that is something that is, you know, pretty severe. And you could also consider filing a police report. And if you get an attorney, they may tell you to do that anyway. So those are all things you could think about doing if you know who is doing these things, and you could prove who they are, like their name and stuff. Specifically, you know who they are. I would consider that. And even if you don't know who they are, if you find an attorney, they might be able to get an investigator to prove who they are. Oh shit! I just moved something around. You know, so I'm just putting that out there. Like if someone's really doing that, there's things you can consider doing to see. Yeah, check the laws in your state. But speaking of, Kriss might have a legal case on you. We'll discuss that. And so I know you want her to forgive you in terms of the more accepting you type situation, but if she does not press legal charges, I feel like that's the most grace you're gonna get, you know. You said the police here didn't take you serious because it was TikTok. Yeah, that's why attorneys can help, because the attorneys, when you get them to help you file a police report, they can make the police take you more seriously, because they know the law and they know the right things to say to basically be like, so you're not filing a police report in the accordance with the law regarding cyber harassment, because there are specific laws that you could have a case for this under, and if they're refusing to take your case, then that should go against them, you know. Like, it's, but it is how it is. So yeah, like they do like to dismiss and stuff, but yeah. Let's see, let's go here. So I just want to, like, related to the Utica Kriss situation, which, you know, JT Allen did admit to doing, would be, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, basically creating a fake AI generated nude of Kriss. Correct me if I'm wrong, exposure. So, passed in May 2025, there is a Take It Down Act, which is a federal crime to knowingly publish sexually explicit images, whether real or AI generated, without the depicted person's consent. And this includes deepfake nudes and revenge pornography. And sometimes, in some states, if you publish someone's nudes without consent, it's considered a form of revenge porn, if they believe it's with malice. So, is there a statute of limitations? There is not a specific statute of limitations for this, which means there's not a specific timeline of which a victim can take action, to my understanding. And this is a federal law, which means it applies across all states. It does operate regarding criminal penalties, and requires removal of past content. But even though it involves criminal penalties, that's not what the victim would specifically be taking charges under legally, because that's just not what that law does. It's more focused on providing the avenue to press those charges, as well as getting the content removed from platforms. I just burped. But for types of visuals such as revenge porn in South Dakota, which is where the Pine Ridge Reservation is located, if I'm not mistaken, you know, it could be a misdemeanor or a felony depending on the situation. But in terms of statute of limitations, it could be, depending on the crime level, it would be up to the lawyers and the judge to know for sure. It would be between 2 and 5 years would be the statute of limitations up on which Kriss could take legal action if she wanted to. So I'm just putting it out there. There is a possibility that if she wanted to put a legal charge on you, she could have, and she would have. She still could, potentially. So the fact that she hasn't tried to do that, you know, like, even if she doesn't feel like, even if she hasn't been in your space necessarily since all of that, like, the fact that she hasn't done that is basically as much grace as I feel you're gonna get from the situation. And I would just, you know, if she doesn't press any charges, just take that as a win and keep doing better, you know? Because if she were, then there would be a possibility that you might have to register as a sex offender in the future if she did do that. But if it's your first offense, they might not make you. If they file it as a misdemeanor instead of a felony. If that did happen, it would have to be a felony charge for it to then go that way. But yeah. But if you had done anything that you were convicted of, it would be made public according to the laws. And the fact that we have not found any public record that ties back to you, oh, and he said that's understandable. You see, that's the difference between you and other people we've been calling out, is you're understanding why we're saying what we're saying. You're trying to recognize the harm, and you understand why certain people aren't going to feel safe around that, but you're going to see and about growing. So I do feel that requires different addressing, and, you know, just a different level of keeping an eye on things. But yeah, because I haven't found any. Ah, shit, did I just mute myself? I hope I haven't been muted too long. Because I haven't found any records related to this public situation, related to these types of offenses, which would be public record if it was true. That is why I don't currently believe those allegations are true, though. Related to, do people think John Thomas Allen is a sex offender? You know, like, I have seen people say that. He literally made a video himself addressing this shit. But no, I don't believe that's what is happening here. So these extensions, I'm gonna link this later, I think. And I'll probably just link this later too. Fuck it. So yeah, I don't believe that that's the case when it comes to that situation. So I feel like people are gonna think what they think of him, you know. When it comes to the Kriss situation, I think there are valid reasons to feel a certain way about that situation. When it comes to the people straight up accusing him of being the one who was charged by the FBI, and him being the one with the child porn charges and the child sexual assault charges, I don't agree with those statements, because everything I can find on public record and court record does not point that that's him. And so it's like, if you have any evidence of him doing that, then you need to present that evidence, I feel, before making those statements, you know. I feel like it's one thing to have evidence of what someone said and then to have an opinion about those statements versus just saying that because you don't like somebody, you know. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Or having evidence of something someone did, you know, or something like that, you know what I mean. But yeah, so moving on, what I want to get to now before we kind of close out on everything is just kind of watch at least one video, maybe more, Um, so we have here the newest upload on the Just Nobody page. We got it says disabled person speaks out against Mono, and I did not see who this person was, so I don't know who it is. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna look at what they have to say. I wish that my extra captioner thing wasn't glitching out because it was working for a minute there. I need to figure out something else for that. I don't know. Like, and then I remember back in the day, I felt like TikTok would caption this for me, and now I can't. Like, it doesn't fucking do that here. Oh wait, is that doing that? It says unavailable. God damn it. Anyway, like, it's not fucking doing it for me lately. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What you gonna talk about? The fuck are they saying? Hold on. Let me see if the caption will work. Okay. We're gonna play this now. Why you gonna talk about my body? What?
That makes me, as an SA survivor, that really, really pisses me off. We need to watch out for these people and call them out, because these predators need to be called out. That is uncalled for. It is wrong. It's evil. Oh my gosh, sweetie. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Again, like I said, we're all here for you, for all of you that are suffering through these things, because we need you and you need us. And you have found, yes, we're here for you. We will help you through this.
So, Exposure said they personally prefer she not be involved more than she already was. I'm assuming that you are speaking about the person who's speaking here, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm shocked.
And he's not going to tell you the truth because, his pride, his ego. He's not going to tell you what happened last year either.
So this has been going on for over a year?
Yeah, he was like, oh, I'm going to come to your house for your birthday. We're going to link up. We can hang out. Da-da-da-da-da. I was like, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, you're not. Because you're my sister. You know how he is with the sister bullshit, yeah.
I feel so fucked up right now because you know what's in my head when she's saying, because you're my sister? I'm over here like, because we are sisters. We stick together. Okay, my bad. But Exposure said yes about that situation. About not wanting the person speaking to get more involved than she already had to be.
I'm your sister. We should go and hang out. I was supposed to go to California, this and that. He was going to spend money on me. Like, I was like, no, if I wanted money, I got a job. No.
So he's been trying to make advances towards you, and it's been going on for over a year. Is that what you're saying, that he was trying to talk with you and like trying to, not being very appropriate with you? You told me about that.
God.
She didn't know who you were. When Native Mamas was talking about it, she didn't know who you were. And I said, oh yeah,
his
that's
girlfriend or something. Yeah, like he. Why you gonna talk about my body? What?
That makes me, as an SA survivor, that really, really pisses me off. We need to watch out for these people and call.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was playing for a second because I was distracted with the volume situation over here. Anyway, fucking, yeah, so we can see here that they didn't mention his name directly here, but according to, you know, the poster, this was about Mono, potentially. And yeah, I feel like it kind of, you know, leads to a reflection of how he has treated women in generally. We saw what he was messaging to Isla, and saying about me on Josh's live stream. We've seen just kind of in general how he talks about women. So I feel like that goes hand in hand in what he says, and the sister comments was like spot on in my opinion in terms of we all know that's how he is. But yeah. Let's see, before I go, let's just see if there's anything else that we just want to take a quick look at. I'm trying to see if there's anything relatively new that I was involved in that was relevant to what I've been covering recently, because I know you got a lot of evidence on here, and it's not that it doesn't matter, but it's just more about processing everything. Oh shit. Man, why do people want to call me when I'm in a fucking live stream? Just need un momento. I'm gonna answer them. I'm gonna call them right back. Alright. But shit. It'll be alright. Yeah, I'll call them right back. I swear, like, my phone only goes off if I decide to do a live stream. Okay. Because I just want to, because, like, when it comes to covering the things that I was around for, it's like I can speak to some of the context of that and pull up some of the evidence. But when it comes to the things that I have no context for, it's just that I can't speak to that, so I don't want to get to, leading to anything that, you know, that I can't necessarily verify myself. Though that I feel like that kind of has crossed the line there when it comes to me showing the live stream recording clips, particularly. Because it's like on one level, yeah, I'm not the one who said the things that I'm referring to, because everything I've said myself, I can show you why I have but reason to believe that. He said, if I ever come across an image of your girlfriend, please not put her on here. Well, I don't know who she is or what she looks like, so if she ever comes here, I probably didn't know it was fucking her. I don't know. Like, really, I don't put people on here without, like, a reason, you know? Sometimes shit just comes up in search results while I'm looking for shit on live stream, so shit happens, but, like, for example, when it came to covering the Harley Tajuana situation, I did not pull up a picture of her mother, but I did pull up a picture of her father. Why is that? Oh, hey, Jose. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, too. Why didn't I not pull up a picture of Tajuana's mother? Because there's no reason to. Her father, I believe, was also potentially making posts that could lead one to believe he may be claiming indigenous as well. And when it comes to figuring out who his parents are, because he posted his own mother, which is how I found those public records, I was then able to confirm who his parents were and then do their genealogy to confirm they don't have any indigenous ancestry documented. And when it comes to all of that, and looking at that, that is why I posted the picture of her father, to show that journey, to show how that came out. But when it came to her mother's side, I could prove all of that without having to go there. Exposure said, you know what I look like? There's a picture of her in a purple shirt standing near me, you know, side by side. So that's the picture that they're passing around. Just basically don't pull up if it's not on your profile, it's not going to get shown on the stream. If you know what I mean, like, if there's, are you talking, like, if there's ever a picture of you floating around with a bitch next, not a bitch, but, you know, with a chick next to you, then I won't post that. You know, like, I don't I really try not to bring people into the situation that has no reason to be involved, you know? I did post a picture of the people that Tajuana were claiming were her parents, you know? Like, she was claiming that this woman who is not her mom was her mom, and I was able to prove that's not her mom. So I did do that. And also, I spoke to that woman that she's claiming is her mom myself. So that's a different situation as well. But, you know, so there's like different levels here. But John Alla posted his own ID under the emotional angered page. Were you emotional angered and emotional damage? It's okay if you don't want to expose that, but I'm assuming you were. Was that you? But Just Nobody and the emotional angered page have here posted John's actual ID, and you can verify that. And this confirms to me that the person I thought I found that was him in public records online from Texas is indeed him. Exposure said, yo, lol. Oh, so that was you. That's funny. Wait, is there another? Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. You showed like a clip from a search, from one of those, I don't know which one this is, but one of those people search sites. Whatever fucking name they have. So yeah. So there you can see he's doxed himself. He's shown his ID. Like, what more do you want from the dude to confirm that those records are not him, you know? Because you look at the facts of those cases, it's clear as day, in my opinion, that that's not the same person. If you're going to judge him for something, let it be for what he actually did. Judge him for that. If you, like, I see the reasons to judge for it. But this, I feel, is just, you know, like, you can't. That's why people are discrediting people about the Andrew Moreno situation, because people claim these things, like, you know, anyway. You are not emotional damage, but you were the anger one. Okay, all right. I wonder who emotional damage is. I have to think about that. There were rumors that emotional damage was used for a time there, I think. Okay. Shit. I don't have context on a lot of these things. So I don't want to watch what I don't necessarily have the context on. When I cover Manny, I'm probably going to come back to these Manny streams, I think. Because mind you guys, he asked me to cover him. Let's see. Is there anything else we want to see here? What the fuck is... We watched that. What are these? Are these both Don Chuy lives? What are these here? I guess we'll just kind of close out with these two. Maybe come to these two too, depending. What the fuck happened in these? I see fuck around and find out in this screen. And everybody. Alright, we might close out with these two live streams. Because I feel like I have some context on some of the things that have happened since then. Oh, we got more of this situation down here too. These look older though. Or are they new? Who knows? We'll just start here and maybe hit those later. I think that's what I'm gonna do real quick. Alright, I'm gonna do this one and then this one. Alright, it's John T. Allen said that you have a record you didn't even know about. Right. Like I don't know. You know, sometimes people will deny what their record is, so I can understand to a point. Like if there were public records on you and you were still denying it, and people are like, but the record is right here. like I would then kind of understand where people aren't caring or listening to you about what you're saying because the record is there. But if, you know, in this situation, I don't see a record on you. So I'm muted. My bad. I just realized I'm muted. I was about to play this, and I got distracted with like this captioner thing. Whatever. Life is hard. We're just gonna keep going. My bad. Fuck it. I don't even know what the fuck I was saying now.
Cage.
That was actually a good movie. I actually kind of want to watch that when I get home.
Oh shit.
What movie's that?
Unleashed. Jet Li. That's actually a really good movie.
Anpow.
Yeah, so I sent you to that person's info. Now let's see if she wants to keep. Let's see if she wants to keep talking shit now. Remember, it's fuck Harley, right? Okay. Let the games
You
begin.
know they love you. They're your biggest fans.
Oh, she's about to hate me.
Are they talking about Kari? Is that who they said? I think I totally hear Tajuana speaking. Oh, Jose said he was about to say there's no sound. Yeah, my bad, y'all. Yeah, like sometimes I'll be hitting the mute button whenever I'm watching a video, and then I'll forget to unmute whenever I say some shit. Oops, it happens. Yeah. Fucking, and so here I see is like, I don't understand the malice here that's happening, but I mean, if they're talking about Kari, I understand that Kari has said some specific things that need to be addressed and she could be held accountable for, right? But or whatever, but like when it comes to what they say, I feel like it just kind of creates and normalizes a lot of stereotypical shit. So yeah, John Thomas Allen said as far as he knows he's clean, you know, in terms of his legal record. Well, that is what is found online so far. Jose said he had a glitch for a bit or YouTube streams would get muted for him. He was about to refresh just in case. No, this time it's not you, it's me. Yeah. But yeah, alright, let's see what else they have to say, because I just feel like the tone of this is interesting, but the captioner up top is glitching a lot. If that bothers anybody, let me know. I'm hoping the other captioner is working.
I'm pretty sure she meant it in like a passive aggressive, like, fuck you.
And mind you, right here, she's claiming mixed native Oglala, but I've done her genealogy. I can prove through public records and through her genealogy that she does not have any Lakota ancestry documented as far as I'm aware. So I do believe that, you know, and it's one thing to be a descendant, you know, like I call myself one. I wouldn't be invalidating the indigeneity of that, you know. But if you don't know who your native ancestors are, I don't know if you should be claiming you're a mixed native if you don't have any Native American ancestors documented. I kind of feel like that's a bit problematic. It could potentially be identity fraud if I'm not mistaken. And if you're building a platform off of that, I think that could be illegal under the Indian Arts and Craft Act, which is a federal law which applies to federal tribes, which I believe the Oglala Sioux Lakota Native tribe is. I apologize, I don't know if it's correct to say Sioux, but I know some people will say it when it comes to the legal issues because that's what's written under the law, but then I don't know if it's right for me to repeat that or not, so apologies if that was problematic. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, just gonna keep moving on from there, but I find that quite problematic. Yeah.
And she turned her back on me. I didn't turn my back on her. I just blocked her off TikTok because we didn't, you know what I'm saying? We didn't function on TikTok. You feel me? So she didn't like people I'm around. She didn't like, comment, share shit, no nothing. So why are you on my shit?
Exactly. You got a fucking problem. Just don't look at it. It's very easy. Being an adult moves.
You know, I was reading those things, and the only ones that used to be friends on here was Andrew, Toxic Mamas, Lorena, that's Coyote, whatever.
Exposure says he has to go. Bye, Exposure. And that it was about someone doxing. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know.
Mateo, Woken, who else?
That's what I was telling them earlier, and they didn't like that I told them that.
Yeah. And Don Chuy never was around then. We didn't know him then. He wasn't on TikTok then. But me and Manny used to sit there and watch and see them all attack each other.
You know, let them tell that, you know, he's in all this bullshit. He's in a, I'm just gonna say child ring, all kinds of shit. With no proof. I don't know what's up.
7 a.m.
It's wild.
And tour.
Yeah, and if they were all in a group together and passing pictures around, that's between them. We were never in their fucking group, ever.
You can see they were really routing it to make sure that it was secure at all times.
Is she talking to them? I can't hear shit she's saying.
You made me think of something, Anpow. Wasn't Lorena defending Mono when they were accusing him of sharing nudes?
I know they used to be friends, but I don't know about her approving or defending that specifically. If there is evidence of that, I'd be interested to see that. But, you know, it's one thing to believe him on certain things because I can understand how he convinces people to believe him on what he says about things. And if people have not seen the evidence to contradict that, then I understand why they would just believe him. But when it comes to people who have seen certain evidence and they still choose to defend and support that rhetoric and narrative, that's where I'm just like, oh, no, we do not have value alignment. Let's just not be in each other's spaces, you know? But, yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what she did or did not defend, but whether or not she was friends or not friends with him could be a different story at that time. But I feel like you could be friends with somebody but not co-sign their behavior if you are not presented with the evidence until you believe it. But for me, what matters is whether or not you support them when you are aware they've done certain things and there's proof and there's a victim statement and all of that. Like, if there's no victim speaking out, if you're denying a victim, I judge that. If there's no victim speaking out and it's just hearsay and there's no evidence, then I understand why for you wouldn't believe it. So until you've seen the evidence or you've seen a testimony, then you can't necessarily, you know, hold someone accountable for something, right? I don't know, but that's just kind of me when it comes to all of that. So I can understand how, like, if someone hasn't seen evidence and then they're defending him based on what he said because they believe what he said. But if someone's seen certain evidence of certain words he has said and they're still supporting that, I'm like, hell no, you know? But yeah.
Yeah, back then.
multiple
I remember watching like something, and she was like, he never shared that, and this and that and the other. You know.
Ain't it crazy how shit turns?
On what? A crimson spawn?
Huh. These guys on phone.
Oh, and what do you talking about?
They're all weirdos, man. If you ask me, they're all weirdos.
Oh, Exposure says, thank you for doing the background search and clarifying that I'm not a pedo. No problem. I think that people are going to hate on you. They should hate on you for the right reason. Come correctly, you know? Like, don't accuse you of something you didn't do. Hold you accountable for what you did do, you know? And also it's like, so many people have done worse things on this app at this point that people are still following. It's just like, for me, it's just like, yeah, like, I can't be out here doing like worrying about every single situation. Like, I don't agree with the Kriss situation, but as long as you continue on a good path forward, then I don't feel the need to do the call out videos where I've done on these other situations where I'm just like, this person did X, Y, and Z, and this is why I don't believe they're being accountable, you know? But if the behavior did continue, then I would want to say something. Or if Kriss had more to say on it and she wanted her voice heard, then I would feel compelled to put that out there. But like, you know, she was aware that Andrew was involved in circulating that material, and she was still on his panels after, so I don't know how mad she is at you if she didn't bother pressing legal charges. But I can't speak to what impacted somebody, you know, because for her that could have been either, I don't know what it was to her. It could have been nothing to her, but something, I mean, it could have been something that still makes her not want to be around you again, but not that big of a deal. Or it could be something that was traumatizing to her. It could be either way, because it could have triggered something, you know. So that could go either way depending on the person in the moment, their history, just everything. So I don't know where she is on that, but I'm not going to bring it all up through the mud and make that too public, because then I would have to show the evidence for that, which I guess your confession is enough of an evidence. But it's just like, I don't know if I want to like put that on her without, unless she wants that, but whatever, you know. But yeah, like, I just don't, like, I'm gonna keep an eye, like, that's a situation where when someone does something like that, I'm like, let me just keep an eye on things. It's not gonna be something where I'm like, okay, now I trust that person. But I'm gonna say that I do see you taking the accountability, admitting you did this, and trying to rectify the harm with what you know you can show. So I do see that. And I've been thinking, like, what is the path for accountability? You know, and right, and you said you still had no right though, and all you can do is be a better human being, is what Exposure commented, and I agree with that. Yeah, like, when you make those mistakes, all you can do in the future, you know, you can't change the harm you did to one person, but you can try to be better going forward. So yeah, and it's just up to everybody to decide how they feel about all of that. But I know, like, people in middle school and high school who did way more fucked up things, and everybody knows they did these things, and they're still, like, real popular, and I don't understand it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like if you have enough money, or if you have, like, stereotypical popularity things going for you, then people don't give a shit if you do things like this. Like, if you're like the stereotypical jock, versus if you're perceived as a nerd, then you're like scarred for life, you know, whenever you're doing these things. And I just think that either way, that doesn't lead to accountability or teaching someone to be better. But yeah, because they either claim they don't want to hold you accountable because they don't want to ruin your future, or they don't understand why you did what you did. They don't try to teach you. They don't try to get you to understand the issues. Instead, they just sit there and degrade you. And I think there's a point of having a lot of negative things to say about those actions, which could feel degrading, versus only using the situation to degrade you and not to hold you accountable. Like, I do feel there's a difference, you know? And I just don't think that people need to be bringing it up as a way of degrading. I think it needs to be accountability. And when people are just, you know, I don't know. But yeah. And people are just making up, you know, that you have charges you didn't have. And that's why whenever I show the proof about the Andrew Moreno situation, because people are calling him a pedophile, no one cares when I show the evidence. Well, not no one, a bunch of people do, but certain people don't. No one in that one panel cared when I showed the evidence of him actually saying predatory things, because they were more concerned with if he was a pedophile or not. And I'm over here like, the whole point of calling him out isn't about labeling him specifically as a pedophile. It's about looking at the harm he caused. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what my hang up is with a similar situation with what happened here too. Like, whenever people do that, all it does is make it harder to hold people accountable for what they actually did. Okay, let's keep watching this if we have time.
No, I have the same opinion. So it's not just asking you, it's asking me too. They're fucking weirdos. They spread misinformation without any fucking proof. And when they tried to act like there was proof, the receipt didn't receipt. So.
Are they talking about me? Because all of the evidence I have, I feel is valid evidence, in my opinion, based on public records available to me online. But all of my links are in the description of my video, mind you, so you can come to your own conclusion, do your own research, and find out for yourself what you think the truth is.
They got to come with something better than that. Because trying to turn something into something that it wasn't did not work out for them.
Exactly.
So they better come better with that.
Y'all ever?
I'm gonna throw my motherfucking teeth at him.
Damn.
But then I'm gonna have to be like, I need those bitches back. So can you? Yeah.
Bitch, I hate you.
Those motherfuckers were expensive.
Oh, weak. She said, I'm gonna go.
Hold on, you got.
Pop this bitch out and throw him right at him. I chew.
Got fake teeth.
Yeah, I lost them due to my lupus.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
And then Triple K claims that she's got lupus.
Honey, Harley, I have 6 fucking appointments alone just for cardiology.
No, that
All
bitch
of them
doesn't
set
stay
up.
home and talk shit on TikTok.
Because she
That's
says
crazy.
she has lupus, right? So she said it affects her blood, right? That just means she's anemic. It ain't nothing too fucking serious with having lupus.
I don't know if Kiki is or isn't anemic, but I'm actually anemic. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? Anemic means you have low iron, dumbass. What the fuck? Like, yeah, you do get that tested through a blood test, but just because you got a fucking blood test doesn't confirm whether or not you have anemia. I just don't understand this logic here.
Being anemic. Like, I asked,
It be the audacity for me with these motherfuckers.
fuck out of here with all that shit.
And Kiki happens to have been public about her lupus journey. Otherwise, I wouldn't be mentioning it. But otherwise, I don't know if they would or not. But I just think it's quite interesting. I feel like because of the negative stereotypes that are associated with MRSA, which Harley did admit she has, I think that's why she is trying to act like Kiki's lupus isn't valid or some shit, you know? And I also think it's a self-projection because we can prove her so-called native identity is not valid, in my opinion. So I think she tries to invalidate others because she knows she's the one who's not valid.
It's the identity.
Right? Eat some liver. That'll fix it.
Right?
Exactly, but she's sitting there saying that she has it. Okay, bitch, but my shit is actually, you know, trying to unalive me. Like, I've got everything you can think.
I don't understand their logic here. They're acting like just because Kiki has good days or bad days with her health, then the bad days don't exist, but they do. But that's nobody else's business. Some people, they do choose to come online because it's like if they feel bad so often, it's like if they're not gonna, you know, be able to do anything, they might as well just spend some time online. Fuck it. And some people, like, they get in situations where it's so bad they can't even get online. It's a spectrum. All medical conditions are spectrums. It's not a binary code. And I don't believe in comparing your mental health or your physical condition to another person. And I don't believe in this issue here, what they're doing. I just think that's messed up. Yeah.
Got fucking wrong. And she's like, it's with my blood. Okay, you're fucking anemic then. I even asked my rheumatologist. He's like, it's just fucking anemia on different levels, you know. And, like, bitch, shut the.
Okay. I'm anemic. Let me show you. What is anemia? Anemia is a blood condition where your blood lacks enough healthy red blood cells, which contains hemoglobin, an iron-rich protein that carries oxygen from the lungs to the rest of your body. It leads to fatigue, weakness, and pale skin because your tissues aren't getting enough oxygen. And it's often a symptom of another issue caused by blood loss, decreased red blood cell production, like lack of iron B12 or folate, or increased destruction of red blood cells, such as sickle cell anemia, etc. So yeah, if you have shortness of breath like me, pale yellowish skin, cold hands and feet, me, tired of weakness, all of that. Did I say wickedness? Weakness, the fuck is wrong with me? And there's different causes. And for me, I think mine is tied to my cycle. But yeah. So, just putting it out there, blood tests that measure your red blood cells and hemoglobin are how they do test for it. But like what they're saying, you know what I'm saying? They're not giving specific facts about her hemoglobin and her iron levels, you know? They're not talking about that. Instead, they're just saying just because she had blood work or talked about blood work or something, that would somehow make her anemic or some shit. Like, it just makes no sense to me. Maybe I'm mishearing them. Maybe I'm misprocessing or misunderstanding what the fuck they're saying right now. But I just feel like their logic makes no sense. Do you know how much shit you can do a blood test for? You know what I mean? Like, getting a blood test done does not equate to necessarily being anemic. It just means you had a blood test done, in my opinion. But that's just me. You can have your own conclusion. I think specifically anemia would require low iron levels and potentially being able to see some issues with the hemoglobin there.
Fuck up.
I love this.
Tell me what your ANA count is, ho. Tell me what your ANA count is.
She probably don't even know it.
You can't tell me that you dumber than a fucking box of rocks.
I think that is self-projection from someone who doesn't even know what the fuck anemia is.
You guys, should I get a run in on the treadmill before I leave here?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, bitch, run for me.
All right, here I go.
All of a sudden, you're gonna hear Harley hit the fucking wall.
Do y'all notice how she goes from culturally appropriating AAVE to culturally appropriating indigenous slang? Interesting.
No, you're not. Fuck you. Fuck
I ain't
you
gonna
very
lie.
much.
She's gonna be like, I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Or like
I'm
those TikToks where they fall off the treadmill and then they
Yeah, I was
bounce
watching
off.
them.
No, bruh.
Yeah, that would be
Fuck
hilarious.
yeah.
Concentrate, concentrate.
Concentrate.
You know what? I hate all of you. I'm actually turn my camera on just so you motherfuckers can shut up.
If you
Okay.
fall, that's gonna be
You
something
fall.
for the books.
We have proof.
Fuck y'all.
Straight
Wait,
up.
hold on. Let me screen record this if she's gonna put on her camera.
Hold on. I gotta find somewhere to put my damn phone at. Hold
Oh
on.
shit.
Does this turn?
your boobies.
Does this thing turn?
I want to see some sprints.
I don't know if this thing turns.
Exposure says that he covered it live when she got on the treadmill. I don't know if we need to see that. Unless she said something that actually makes it worth seeing. I don't know if we need to see her on the treadmill.
Hold on.
Hey, y'all
Gotta
seen
find
when
somewhere to
that
put my
ice
damn
agent,
phone.
when that ice agent ate
Oh, also, I'm going to try to remember to link the playlist on the Harley Tajuana situation. That playlist has a lot in there, but basically at the beginning I covered some court records related to her. Then I covered some public records related to her childhood, which I think explains who she is and how she is now. And from there I covered a video that she did on Kari, who we mentioned earlier. And from there, I believe it was those next two videos, if I'm not mistaken. If I did a reaction. I can't remember when, but I had also done a reaction to the police footage on her. And in that reaction, the original short police footage is linked in the description of the video. If you want to go watch that there. And then I did two videos on her genealogy where I believed I could prove that she's not indigenous based on the public records available to me. And last but not least, I followed up with more about why I believe that DNA test is fake from the conversation I had with the person she alleges is her Lakota family members. I actually reached out to that family and I was able to confirm that there is no relation. So, yeah. And I was able to confirm from there that, you know, the public records we found before on everything were valid and correct. And, yeah, so. Anyway.
shit earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's karma right there.
Let's see here.
The one that slipped nice?
Yeah, he's still
Damn it, I need to find somewhere to put my phone.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because if I put it where there's a center console thing on this, but you won't be able to see me because I'm a fucking short shit. Here.
For real?
Yeah. You will not be able to see me. Hold on. Here, I'm going to show you. Hold on. Hold on. Damn it. See? I'm a short shit, so it's not going to work out right there.
I mean, if you come off camera.
Fuck you. Very fucking much, all right? Hold on, let's see here.
That'd be fucked up.
That would be. Oh, that's... Maybe.
Damn, is that a weighted vest too? Shoot.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's commitment. That's commitment.
She ain't playing.
So nothing really happens in this stream. You just kind of recorded them anyway. The rest of this, it looks like we don't see them on the panel. It looks like the rest of this is just a profile photo. But okay, I'm gonna just let it play. I don't know.
Come on, go faster, bitch.
What you got it on?
Right now it's 4.5.
Yeah, okay.
And we're at 6.
There we go.
Ooh, no hands.
Bro, if you eat shit right now, I'm gonna laugh, bro. I'm gonna feel bad, but I'm gonna laugh.
Jose said he wonders if Pretendians just chose random native names out of a hat and then claim they are their ancestor. Well, what I noticed, and this is like I said before, the reason I did show Tajuana's father was it looks like he may have been the first to claim Lakota, potentially, in my opinion, and I believe she followed suit. So sometimes in cases like her, I believe it's because, you know, like there will be misinformation in her family and they will be misled and believe misinformation from what their family taught them. Sometimes, and you know what, like if someone did think that because it was passed in their family and then when they learn and do better, I could give some grace there, because I do understand, you know, like to question your ancestry, not know it's true, and just kind of have to go by with what your family tells you. But where it comes to like people like the Shanine Blake situation, culturally appropriating indigenous people, or like a lot of people in Louisiana, they'll claim they're Creole, but they actually they're just fully European and white. They have no African ancestry, no Native American ancestry. And they'll try and claim that they have the Native American or the African ancestry when they do not. Or the same with the Cajun identity. You know, it's very common in Louisiana for a lot of people to culturally appropriate the local culture to them as well. So some people, they will claim the tribe in the area that they live or that they were born around or from, because they'll just want to be able to claim that culture that is the predominant or the like what is known around them, you know. So a lot of white people in Louisiana, they claim Creole or Cajun, and they have no Creole or Cajun ancestry. They only have European ancestry. They don't have the African or Native American admixture. And then there's a lot who do. I am not negating the ones who do by any means. Do not take it that way. I'm just saying, how many of you don't even know who the fuck your ancestors are and are claiming that? That's who I'm speaking to. If you know who your Native ancestor is, if you know who your African ancestor is, I'm not talking about you. But yeah, so there's that. Like, some people, it's like, I think it's because they want to be a part of the community or the culture around them, and so they claim that identity even though they don't know what their actual identity is. And some people, I think it's like they know better and they intentionally want to claim another identity for perhaps what they perceive as benefits, even if there aren't technical benefits. There are theories about why Tajuana or Harley has chosen the specific timing she chose to claim indigenous identity, and things of that nature, and how this happened. But I'm gonna wait because I'm not the one who came up with that theory. So I'm gonna wait to speak on that. But you may know what I'm talking about if you've seen it on TikTok. And also, we don't have like a full proof. It's just a theory based on some of the facts of the case. But there's, you know, some rumors going around about some of the events that led before Tajuana moved over to try and be around Lakota people. Right before she moved over there and was claiming the Lakota identity, she was involved with somebody. And it's just interesting timing, the way things have gone down, you know. So, there are rumors, you know, with her, there may be a specific cover-up reason where maybe she doesn't want to be questioned by certain people, and so maybe she left a certain state to avoid jurisdictional investigation. You know, maybe that's a thing if there's not enough evidence for a warrant out. you know, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what the truth is? There's just been some speculation. I'm not the person who came up with that theory though, but I will wait and see if I can update with this. With more details. Yeah. Oh, there's like 10 seconds left of this. Let's fucking play that shit. Hold up. Is anything else happening?
Girl, get it. You're running with your little feet.
I think I'm too short to run at 6.
My boobs are too big to be running, okay?
But you know what? I do feel like a lot of, you know, Native Americans get claimed by people who, like, I don't know, like there. I feel like certain tribes trend at different stages for where and why and when people claim them too. If that makes sense, because I feel like there's a time period there, like particularly the early 2000s through the mid 2000s, everybody wanted to claim they were Cherokee. Anytime anything Pocahontas comes out, everybody wants to claim they're Powhatan. And there are a lot of actual Powhatans, and so then we get fucking dismissed because of the pretendians. But anyway, fucking everybody wants to claim they're Powhatan when it comes to Pocahontas shit. Everybody wants to claim they're Cherokee for some reason. Like, wasn't it Blake Lively that claimed she was Cherokee or some shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, a bunch of people do. And then when it comes to like, just different movies that come out, different things that happen, people want to claim they're some random native tribe. I wonder, did that dude that play in, you know, like, for example, like, and then there's just like fascination and fetishization with native people, like you saw in the Twilight series, right? For example, and were the people that were native in that movie even native? Like, wasn't the main one James something, no, Taylor Lautner or some shit, whatever the fuck his name is, wasn't that dude not even native and he was like playing a native person? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just the fetishization of native people generally. Like, I really do think they just, sometimes they don't even know what fucking tribe, they don't even know the history of the tribe they're claiming. They just pick one sometimes, like it varies. Okay, that's a long ass ramble, but whatever. So we watched that live stream, not much happened there. Is this a follow-up to that? And is it, oh, it's 15 minutes. Is this even worth happening? Does anything valid even happen here? So Exposure says Avatar is a knockoff of the Pocahontas film. I don't know if it is, actually, because Pocahontas is Powhatan. My people are Powhatan. I know Powhatan history very, very well. And the thing about Avatar, yes, they do culturally appropriate indigenous people generally. And there are specific tribes, for example, the Native Americans, from the people who do have the, like, I don't know the right word, but the bioluminescent waters. Those tribal people had a lot of their specific cultural practices and imagery appropriated. And if you look into it, there are legal action attempts. Oops, I muted myself. There are legal actions attempts. And the second one faced a boycott because of the cultural appropriation. And there's just like a lot of information out here about that generally. But yeah, Exposure says, truly, I'd remember if anything on that video. So there's probably nothing there. I don't think I am going to watch that second part then. Yeah. But if you like look into it, there's just a lot of native tribes that are trying to boycott or take legal action on Avatar for the way they represent like indigenous issues in general. But so to a point, as it relates to first contact of indigenous tribes, which Powhatan people were a part of being some of the first contacted, not necessarily the first. Then we were the first contacted by specific colonizers, I believe, like John Smith, though. But whatever. Fucking, like, when it comes to, you know, specific events like that, then there are details, you know, as it relates to our history, there are similar with Avatar, with some of the back end themes there. But in terms of the main storyline, none of that ties to our specific history, but there are other tribes who are. I love how the results come up about ICE. Well, I hate that ICE is doing this. I hate that these are coming up at all. Native Americans should not be detained by ICE at all. But because of censorship, I haven't been seeing a lot of this shit reported the way I wish it was. And so I think it is great that I did not Google this, but this is what's coming up so it can get found. That's what I meant. But if you look into the boycott from the Native Americans, let's see, I'm trying to click this. Is it loading? Then we got people who are from the Navajo Nation boycotting it. We've got other people as well, but I need to pull up resources. Wasn't it? I have this like captioner thing on. It's like over this. So no one has been successful, but there has been attempts, including stereotypes such as the savage trope, the concept of using blueface, the white savior narrative, and comments. In 2010, he discussed that the Lakota Sioux's suicide rates were an inspiration for Avatar. Yeah. And, you know, so he is basically like saying some fucked up shit. Like, there's been issues, you know, like there's definitely something there. But, yeah. Is it the specific history of Powhatan people? Not necessarily. But is it tied to general indigenous appropriation? Absolutely. And to other specific tribes. Fucking. Okay, I don't think we're gonna watch that. Is there anything, and this is the only other one I was thinking about watching, I think, today. Is there anything up in here?
You say you in
What is this? Kentucky, Don Chuy, Cammy. It looks like there is something said in here. We're gonna watch this one and just see what this one says. This is a long one though, but fuck it. We're gonna finish up with these two live streams for today, potentially, I think. This one and the next one. Oh, Jose says never watched Avatar. And Exposure says that video of Rae at the pen is me talking on Andrew along with a Snapchat group that was involved. I think I'm not going to address the Rae video today for some reasons. And I might come back to that one. If I can go find some other videos that explain the reasoning. Because I don't want to say, because since Toxic TikTok got taken down, I don't want to just be saying things unless I can go find some evidence. God damn it. But, yeah. Anyway, so we're just gonna see what does anything get said here that's worth. But he's saying to check it out. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I will watch it. Fuck it. Okay. just watch it. I'll just watch it.
Can't be too much. Too much.
This is a long one. This is like 25 minutes. This one better be worth it.
But if you want to send the live to whoever, to Cass.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, good. I'm just, I don't know if you want to send it to people.
Exposure says if I want proof of the conversation between me and Rae, he could send it, but we'll have to get it again. If the conversation is discussed in the live stream, isn't that proof?
I don't have a lot of them added because they knew that I was like helping him for a while, you know?
Oh, is this JT?
Yes, this is JT, and I'm trying to expose what he did.
Okay, well, let me send it.
So that's you speaking right there.
I said.
Lozen's one of them.
Lozen?
Lozen, Ink by Cass. She does tattoos. And I can't remember the other one. They talk about her all the time.
I don't know who Native Cutie.
What are you saying about Lozen and Cass?
No, she knows already.
Okay. Nahimana.
She was that one right there.
Yeah. Yeah, there was already recording of him, admitting that he did that to her.
But when I was in this Snapchat group, I was, I'm not exactly the brightest person in the world, but whenever I saw Native Cutie and Lozen is when I started to open my eyes a little bit, because it's not right for you to have these pictures and showing them to people that you don't even know. That stuff's supposed to be kept privately in your phone. Especially.
So you're saying Mono was sharing pictures of Lozen and Ink by Cass? He said yes when I said, were you talking about them?
If it's somebody that sent it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard a little bit of that conversation yesterday where he said he accidentally shared it. And
I'm sorry.
No,
He did not accidentally.
I
He
know.
did it.
I know
He did
Elijah
it
when I hear one.
twice.
I know
And
Elijah.
specifically used who's up for pancakes on one of them.
Do what?
He said who's up for pancakes on one of the comments.
Oh.
So Exposure is saying that Mono had sent unsolicited photos of them. Oh wow.
And every time he would bring up like the stuff, I would leave the call. One of them I had called Lorena, and I had asked her, would you be cool if this was you being made talked about like this?
Yeah.
I never told them I was going to turn against them like this, but yeah, it should not.
She was in that group chat that he sent those pictures to?
Her,
Yeah.
CJ, Mateo, and Mono, and me.
Mm. And he
But
posted
I was not okay with it.
He posted those pictures in that group chat.
Yes, he did.
And what did Loren say?
She said that he wouldn't take it that far, but he already took it far enough to show me, Mateo, and CJ and her those type of photos.
What up, Julian? Yeah.
So what makes her think that it wouldn't go out of that to another?
Hey, Julian, what is the other one's name? Lozen? Do you know the other part of her?
I wish I did.
there's a Lozen on here because apparently Mono has shared pictures of multiple women that have them, I guess, nude. Is it like fully nude?
Um, hers is not. Hers is more in her undies,
Oh,
but
okay.
the
But
other
still a private
ones,
picture.
yes. And I'm here to say that if for anybody that's supporting Muno, y'all should really not be supporting a guy that's going to expose Native women like this.
Or women in general, but yes, especially because he fights so hard. He says we have to protect
And
Native.
this,
Yeah, she's talking about how he says we have to protect Native women or some shit. But you know what's interesting too is Lozen's pretty open as I am with certain imagery of her body as well, like me. And so she, I know, has posted some pretty revealing posts before, like I have. And I think it's the way he will weaponize posts that we made public ourselves and act like, oh, and then demonize us as Native women for having ever been sexual at all. Um, you know, uh, yeah, I don't know where he got those images from. If he did it like me, like where me, he was degrading me for what I posted online. I never sent anything to him. Anything he's talking about is just I made public, and I wonder if that's what he did to her as well. Um, but I don't know. But that's just speculation. But yeah, and where she's talking about, oh, protect Native women, like I haven't even seen this before, but if you watched all of my live stream so far, like on this Mono situation, yeah, you'll see word for word where he says this shit like a lot. Yeah.
this is something that comes out of his own mouth that we should be protecting our Native women. This is something he tells you all the time.
Yep. And we've called him out for that all the time. Like because he uses us to fight each other. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. He uses.
No, he does do that. I think I said that before. But yeah, I'm gonna keep letting this play, and I'm going to be right back in like a minute or two. I'm sorry that the captioner is not working right, but we're doing with what we got.
Native women against Native women. He uses them as his protectors, and the ones who just start to disagree with him, he brings new ones in, and then he cycles them out as they begin to fall from him because of the fact of his behavior is very predatory. Obviously, the predator allegations are no longer allegations; it's just proof because he's sharing very scantily, embarrassing pictures that women have entrusted with him to
Now, I
abuse
want to make an
more on a
apology to
woman.
everybody. I was behind King Boo, and I'm really, really sorry I did something that far. At first, I thought it was a joke because they were playing around like it was a joke, and I had no right to do that.
Why would
That's
you?
why I deleted it.
Yeah. Why would you think that um, creating a fake photo of somebody who that is basically nude? Why would you think that that's part of that joke?
I'm going to be truthfully honest. I wasn't thinking at all in that moment. And I'm very sorry if it might have hurt her or anybody in this community. Now that I've seen what's really going on. I'm going to be truthfully honest. I wasn't thinking at all in that moment. And I'm very sorry if it might have hurt her or anybody in this community now that I've seen what's really going on.
I think that's a conversation that you do need to have with.
I just got back, but I might wind that back. Did you just say it was a joke? Because that's not a funny joke. That's not a good joke. Um, or that you thought it was a joke. Like that's not an appropriate joke. Um, but because there's nothing funny about it, right? Like what would be funny about it, but um so that, conversation could land you in hot water with people when it comes to taking accountability for the situation. Is that what you just said? But yeah, what she was saying before when I had left off, about how he gets women to fight each other or whatever, and then like coddle him and keeps people around that just kind of repeat his narrative. I do agree with that. I'm gonna go back like 20, 15 seconds, Anna.
Who that is basically nude. Why would you think that that's part of that joke?
I'm going to be truthfully honest. I wasn't thinking at all in that moment.
Yeah, like that's okay. Like, cause yeah, it's. I understand you're not thinking about the implications, but yeah, yeah. He said unfortunately, yeah, okay. Well, um, just going forward, like think about what would be funny about the situation. Like think about how you would feel if someone did that to your girlfriend. Just things like that. Like just recognize that consent does matter in these situations. And I've been a part of groupthink before, like back when I was in years ago, like middle school and stuff, where I made decisions that I wouldn't make today just for wanting to be a part of the friend group I was in. And so I understand how groupthink and peer pressure can lead you to make choices that you are still fully accountable for yourself. However, it's like understanding the mindset helps you not to repeat the same mistake. So that way, next time, if you find yourself in a group situation where people are doing these things, you take a step back and you're like, no, I'm not going to partake, and you acknowledge and you call out the issue with the problem. Like, so when you recognize the pattern, then when history repeats itself, you can choose a different path. So that's where I try to understand the background from.
And I'm very sorry if it might have hurt her or anybody in this community now that I've seen what's really going on.
I think that's a conversation that you do need to have with the person that you hurt. I think that you really need to send and actually, do your best to no longer.
So she and I may disagree here. I don't think that you should continue reaching out to the person. Um, Yeah, exposure said he thought about it a lot. He would be hella angry if it was his girlfriend. So then, yeah, therefore you can more understand, and that's why I think you do understand when people point out the problematic nature here, which we can at least acknowledge. Um, and so, yeah, here, I think is Rae advising you to talk to Kriss? Because if that's the case, she and I may disagree on that path here. Because I believe at this point you've apologized enough. She gets the point. Just leave her alone. That's my opinion. But, like, I think Rae is saying something different here. Let's see.
Have that behavior. I'm gonna follow her lead. Whatever she decides to do with y'all's interaction, I'm going to have to respect her wishes because she is a mutual of mine and is becoming a friend, a close friend. So, it was disgusting.
I'm assuming this must be an old video then because, yeah.
What you did do. I'm glad you cleared it up because I was really thinking it was Mono. And I was ready to make him bite a curb, but that hasn't changed the fact that I still want him to bite that curb.
See, a lot of people thought it was Mono and that he was just blaming JT for this. So that did go around also.
I'm pretty done with that group. Is that YT Mana? Is that Mana?
No, I don't know. No, I don't think so. No, not that I know of.
But right now, I'm just trying to make things right.
I get that. It is important you do that so that way you can understand the severity of the situation. But like, I don't know if you understand if you're new to native TikTok or TikTok in general, but
I'm very new to native. I'm
yeah.
usually on Christian lives, stuff like that.
So, what you have to really.
Okay, so Exposure said this was 2 or 3 years ago, and I think that does align with yeah, because I remember hearing about you, I think in 2024, so that makes more sense then. Because I was about to say, well, you're certainly not new now.
Understand is a lot of native TikTok, even though it's big and there's a lot of indigenous people, It's a very small knit community. We kind of all know each other in some way, shape, or form. If you don't know the atmosphere, it's always best that you do your best to not get involved in drama, especially when you don't understand the culture, especially when you don't understand the backstory, because things like this will happen, and you as an outsider will be the first one to be looked at because you will be the common denominator. And also, you don't understand the backstories and the histories of a lot of the people on here.
No, you don't understand, man. I'm in this space for a good reason.
Why?
Because I told you in the chat that earlier, I'm telling people about what Mono has done.
Yes, I get it, but you involved yourself and you put yourself in a predicament. You made yourself look bad because you just confessed something that was very, very disgusting and pissed a lot of people off, myself included.
I mean, I can see why she's saying that because, like I've said before, I extremely disagree with those actions taken. To a point where I would be yelling about it if he was doubling down in any way, shape, or form. The only reason he's getting even some grace from me is because no legal charges were pressed by the person who could be pressing those charges, if she wanted to. So, this is his second chance in life when it comes to that type of behavior going forward. But it's, that is the type of thing where when someone does do something like that, you do keep an eye on them. Like, no, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, fuck you, JT Allen. But yeah, I'm going to sit here and say, this is the type of shit that will, if you are known for doing these things, it's going to lead you to the path where people look at you the same way they look at Andrew. So you have to reflect on that. Like, who do you want to be? How do you want to be known for? And then reflect on that with who you keep in your circle too, like, even though it sucks when you get rejected and you're not for everybody, not everybody's for you either. You need to be your own filter of what is acceptable in your circle too. Like, don't, also, some people spend so much time worrying about what others think of them that they need to start thinking about what do they think of others too. Like, and that way you don't fall into a situation where people are judging you for what you did because of your relationship with others, if that makes sense. I don't know.
That's what I'm telling you. The bet for you to do going forward and moving forward is to not partake in the drama, not partake in any of that. If you see any conversations going sideways, as much as you like to hear Cheeseman, leave the panel. You could probably stay in the comments or here, but as far as getting too involved, that is not what you need to be doing, especially if you're not a part of the community, because it does put you in a very certain light. And we don't, even though we may fight against each other, we will all come together to make sure that you are no longer in our spaces. And that is not a threat. That is a promise. And I'm just being real with you from somebody that actually understands it and is a part of it.
And so now on the flip side, I don't know if the evidence is public for me to fully speak on the allegations related to Rae. But it's interesting how things do change because now it's years later from this live stream, and she's kind of on the outskirts with native TikTok for certain statements that were said. And I feel with her, if she hadn't doubled down in a follow-up live stream on those statements, if she had taken some accountability, she wouldn't be as isolated as she ended up being from native TikTok community. But I do feel she ended up getting isolated because of doubling down. Not only just step one, saying some fucked up things, but then step two, saying she was going to not take those fucked up things back because she stood on that. That combined led to where native TikTok was like, oh, we can't stand by that then, you know? But that's where I think the difference here right now is with JT Allen versus with her, or versus with JT Allen and Mono. Not necessarily that anything that any one of these three people did is comparable to the other, but more of just addressing the community response when it comes to the allegations against them versus what did they respond. Um, when it comes to the difference in the response with JT Allen, he's now sitting here like, I have done this fucked up things, and if this live stream is from years ago, that means he confessed years ago, that his confession isn't just recent. And so here we can see he's been trying to take accountability. If I have not seen a reoffense on a pattern like this since then. If that's the only thing he's done in his life, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I would, no offense to you, Exposure, with all due respect, I would see him more of a dumbass than someone malicious when it comes to this action. But does that change the negative impact of what it did to Kriss? No, it does not. It does not change the negative impact. But how I see him is shaped by his behavior. I see him as a dumbass who could cause harm to others if left unchecked based on this event at this time. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't see him with the same sort of malice at this time as I see with other people. If certain information comes out in the future, maybe my opinion will change on that. But for now, that's kind of where I'm at. And it's not to degrade you or insult you when I call you a dumbass. It's just to say that's where I think you didn't have the intention, but you still caused the harm. You know? Versus when it came to people who knew what they said, knew they were causing harm with what they said, and are still standing on that. I think that's why Native TikTok is really having a problem with Rae and Mono. But what JT Allen did is so bad and can make people feel so unsafe that Rae is right here. A lot of people, like, no matter, you could you know, spend all of your money giving it away to charities. You could work community service for the rest of your life, 20 hours a week. You could go to the soup kitchen and give homeless people free meals and shit, and people are still gonna think the people who are aware of this may still hate you. You know, like, no matter what you do from now, you just have to kind of accept some people are gonna judge that. But there will be people who will give you a second chance. So you just have to give people the chance and let them make their decisions, you know? But he said he is a dumbass, to be honest. That's kind of funny. But yeah, we're here now. We're here now. It's fine. It's fine. Well, what you did isn't fine, but whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah, that's understandable. I shouldn't have got involved in the first place. I shouldn't have done what I did. And I am very sorry, and if she joins this panel, I will tell it to her face.
Yeah, maybe let me see if I can.
I tried texting her about making things right, but
Well, she's dealing with life stuff, you know. She's also trying to leave that whole situation and just kind of dealing with life things and not pay that any mind. But I do think it's important for her to hear it from you and for you to take accountability with her from what you have done. So, you know, but I do think that moving forward, I hope this is a very big lesson, because if it's not, the next lesson is not going to be so nice. To don't get in Native people's business. Our culture is rough. You know, we handle each other a specific way because this is how our culture is. It's not, I'm not saying that we're savages and shit, but whenever there is a problem, we handle it. And, you know, to put yourself as somebody who is not a part of that and doesn't have any understanding of it, it puts you in a more vulnerable position that you don't need to be in. And that's, you know, you really got to take account of that. You can't go into every space and just immediately be a part of it, especially when it comes to cultures. You can go onto religious TikTok and be a part of their, community, because it's different. When you talk about actual cultures, you in actual communities that are based off of culture, you really have to mind your P's and Q's and just sit and watch and, learn. That's what your space is in those spaces, is to just learn. It's not to partake in the community. It's not to partake in the drama and the chisme. You can hear it if they let you be, because this is TikTok, but to involve yourself that deeply, it never works out for anybody in your position. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. You got to be one of the cool kids, man. Our cultures are beautiful, and there's a lot to learn from them.
I don't understand this part though, because she's speaking to you like you have no native ancestry. It would be one thing if you were not claimed by your community to tell someone who is not connected to native community or claimed or know their ancestry, like, hey, you want to stay out of this space. That I would understand if you were not at all native. If she was telling you issues she had with community representation because of your ancestry, because you don't have the same community or cultural connection due to your lineage as others may have, I would understand a reflection on that if that is where she was going. That I would support in terms of someone's right to an opinion on. But when it comes to being like telling someone who does have native ancestry to not be in native spaces, I disagree with that, because how are you going to learn a general consensus on native issues? Because for me, I was very aware of within my own family and within my own people how they want me to identify, how they prefer I identify, and how we identify. But our way of identification is different than how others may see me. And so I had to come to terms with that, and I did so by asking people, especially online, how would they prefer me to communicate my ancestry. And I did that not because I don't have my own family to ask, but because I already knew what they think, but because I knew that people have a problem with me being mixed. And so by asking and getting a consensus on a word choice I could use so as to not harm the feelings of others, I was able to then, I feel, make sure I'm articulating in a way in which can offend the least amount of people possible. But at the end of the day, someone's always going to be offended by you. So, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's just like, sometimes I feel like people use that concept to dismiss when they're actually like doing something fucked up, like discriminating. So I don't agree using it there. But when it comes to like, you could say, hey, my name is Lexie, and someone's gonna get offended that you called yourself Lexie instead of Alexis. Like, I could say, hey, I'm deaf, and someone's gonna get pissed off that I said I'm deaf instead of hard of hearing. Like, there's just, no matter what, there's always gonna be someone trying to tell you who you are or who you're not. But yeah, this part, if you are not native, I think this advice applies to people who are not native in native spaces. Or if you maybe are native but just found out you're native and you're still kind of trying to get your feet wet, then I can kind of understand this advice. But overall, I feel like if you're native, just fucking socialize. You're not gonna learn, and you don't learn. Like my family, we learned to swim by being thrown in the deep end. I don't know about you guys, but anyway,
there's a lot of things that that are beautiful about it, that just kind of make us who we are. But when it comes to the drama, you won't be able to win in none of them fights. And even in any other realm of TikTok, you really got to be paying attention to who you're following and who you're mutuals with. I know some people you know, they go in innocently because they want to be a part of the conversation. They see it live, and you know, they see how, you know, the conversation, and they're like, oh, this is interesting, you know, or oh, they're talking about something, you know, that I like, whether it be comic books and shit, because we like talking about regular life shit too. But you also have to understand that you got to pay attention to the people you're aligning yourself with. um Not everybody's going to have your best interest, because not everybody's doing their best to be their best. So you really have to have that discernment and really pay attention to who you're around. But back to the topic, you said he shared, so you said he shared partially
Everybody
nude
in.
pictures of Lozen.
She was in her undies. Um, Ink by Cassidy, or she. I can't remember her name, but it's
By
like a
Cass.
tattoo artist. Yeah, she had like a whole section full of stuff
What do you mean?
because she has a certain page,
Mm.
and they were sharing that stuff like crazy, man.
Okay, so you're saying they shared stuff from her OnlyFans. So though that would explain why there would be no legal recourse there.
Was it her, or was it, did
It
he
was
like?
her.
No, I know
Okay.
she does have a page. She's open about that.
And the one that really upset me was Native Cutie, because she's always been real friendly to me.
He was sharing those to the group chat.
Yes. And those were not for anybody else to see except for the people that had it in their phone.
um so you're saying that Ink by Cass sent him?
No, I don't know how they got those.
Oh, he took them from a like a OF page.
Maybe.
Said, um, yeah, I went Cass personally. I don't know what you mean, but I'm assuming that like you're talking about how Cass had a page, you know, like so. Yeah, there's just nothing wrong with that. Fuck it.
More or less.
Okay.
I'm not too positive on hers, but I'm just letting her know if she gets this message.
Mm-hmm.
That
When he was sharing them to that group chat full of men and Lorena, because she was in there as well, right? Or no?
she was there. She was not really stepping out of it. I stepped out to pull her out and say, would you be okay if they were sharing this kind of stuff of you or my girlfriend? I wouldn't be okay with it if it was my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. So I know he said, because we touched on this before, but for people.
JT says this is his main channel. This is JT. Can I copy that address? I'm gonna go to that there. Oh, it takes me here now. Oh, okay, this is you. Oh, you gamer. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Interesting. Okay, cool. Um, yeah.
Who are just coming in. Last night, for a lot of people who didn't hear the live last night between him, and then Native Cutie and them, he talked about how Native Cutie sent him a picture of herself, and that he accidentally shared it to that specific group chat that the guest is talking about. Now, did it seem like an accident when he's like he said, like, oh, I accidentally added it to the group chat?
When you send it more than one time and then make a smart remark, who wants pancakes on the second time? I don't think that's accidental.
So this is, and we're talking about Mono, Andrew Moreno, who
And
claims
this
he's a
group
part of the
again,
Mono tribe.
and this and my right had no behavior necessary either, but the ones in there were called CJ, me, Lorena, and uh, Mateo.
Was it a
Yes, it was Snapchat, but if it could be shared out like that to us, then why? What makes us
I am laughing because of the amount of problems these fucking Snapchat groups have caused.
think it can't go to other people? There's other platforms out there.
Yeah. And personal text messages that he could send to his friends or post on other pages, like you said, other platforms. Now,
And
it's coming
maybe
from.
maybe that might have been what changed my mind on a lot of things because I saw my friend up there.
Yeah. And that, I mean, you got to self-reflect on that too, man. Because if the only reason that you stepped up and said something was because you saw somebody you knew, instead of it just being bad behavior altogether in general, uncalled for, you know, that's part of that issue that make women choose the bear every time, because men will help protect each other and they'll just not partake it, but they won't necessarily check their friends and be like, bro, like, what the fuck is this? This is disgusting. You know what? I'm gonna go. And it took you seeing somebody you know or you have a personal friendship with, not any of the other ladies, and not the fact that the behavior itself is disgusting. It should never happen. You know what I mean? And that's something that a lot of men, not just you, but a lot of men, but in this specific instance, yes, but a lot of men really need to self-reflect on, is that men want women to feel safe around them. Meanwhile, they're letting their friends do this. Meanwhile, they're letting their friends disrespect women.
I can't. Well, again, I do see what she's saying because, like, before I was sitting there, like, how would you feel if it was your girlfriend? But it's like, you know what? I shouldn't even be saying that or have to say that because it's like the basis of just the fact that a woman is a person and respecting humanity. You know? Yeah.
This way, in a horrible way, in an embarrassing way, you know, and even partaking in something as far as making a fake page because you think something is a joke. But how much of a joke is it to create a AI picture with someone's imposed face on a nude body and post it as if it's theirs? You know what I
When
mean?
you
Like,
come to terms
that
with
should
it,
have
it's
never
not
even.
funny at all.
Yeah, and that should have never even been a thought in your mind to do, to think that that was even something that was even remotely acceptable to joke
I agree with all of this right here.
about with somebody, especially a woman. Like,
And I've come to terms with that.
you have to reflect on your actions, like, because you give them off too, because of what you did and how you partook in something that you thought was a joke. But what kind of joke is it to create an AI photo and impose somebody else that you never met, that you just started hanging out with, that you don't even know like that, while you're in a relationship with a woman, to create a nude photo of another woman on a fake page and post it as if it's her? Like, what
Yeah,
kind of behavior is that?
not good one, not even for me. But in the end, I'm still going to do what's right.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, I denied because I didn't exactly know what was right and wrong at the time. Now I can see it.
That is never right, though.
No, the other guy, he was talking about a different page.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah, I thought
assuming.
it was mono.
I'm assuming they're talking about people in the comments and not live.
Honestly, that just further added the fuel to my fire, but it didn't take away none of the fuel to my fire, because fuck that dude. He doesn't deserve to be walking free. He doesn't deserve to be comfortable waking up in the morning, leaving his house at all. He deserves to feel as uncomfortable and as unsafe as he's made every single woman that he's encountered and done this behavior with on the internet. He deserves to feel that way in real life.
I wonder if there's other evidence out there on him that I'm unaware of that is leading her to also say these things.
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you. That's the page I was agreeing with you on.
Because if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the things that I have a problem with didn't happen until after this live stream. Or maybe I'm wrong with the timeline there.
Oh, the Willy. Oh, that one is him too. Oh
Yep.
wait, that one was you. The Willy my.
Yes. Willy Wonka.
No. I thought that was a weirdo ass page. I was like, who the fuck is even this dude? I just ignored it. Because I was like, you don't even know the story. You're just coming in trying to tell people how to react. But that's what I'm saying.
But that's how I was told from the.
So we have JT telling me to ask BGP. I'll think about that. I'll think about that. We'll see if she wants to come forward. If she comes forward without me asking, I'll definitely share that. But I'll think about reaching out.
Stories, that's the sources I was getting.
Yeah, but you don't know. You only get one side of the story. That's another part of the problem. You listen to your friends because you think they're your friends, and they're not even your friends because they're not even good people to fucking be around, dude. Like,
They're
I
not
can
my friends no
guarantee
more.
you that because I saw Mateo hop in here 2 seconds ago. So I'm sure he's watching this live and he's showing Mono and Lorena and all them fuck faces. Fuck y'all, by the way. And they're gonna come at you now. I hope you understand that.
I know they will. I'm ready.
So I really need you to be aware that, look, that.
It's interesting how a lot of people in Mono's circle that were his friends 2 years ago, like, it's one thing, like, I know a lot of people on TikTok, some of us were closer at one point or another, and then maybe we had an argument or maybe we fizzled out, but we're still fucking mutuals. It's not even like this, right? Whereas Mono, like, has complete blowouts and fallouts with, like, everybody he ends up known to have been socializing with, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Or it could come off that way sometimes publicly. You know what I mean? Versus other people I know, like, yeah, they've got no, like, obviously on TikTok we'll be fighting, so obviously people will have their own altercations with people, but, like, their entire circle doesn't completely flip this way, Like, it's interesting to see.
Kind of behavior is not a game to me. That kind of behavior is never a game to me. There's women that I was raised by, there's women that I know, there's my ancestors, there's me, that have experienced men just like this and have been weak. Because he is a specific type of predator. He likes younger women. He doesn't deal with women his age. If he does, he treats them more of,
If you can prove Mateo put your information out, because JT's saying that Mateo did do that, and that he could take legal action. If you can prove that he did that before you doxed yourself, absolutely. But because you know how you put your ID out there, and you know how you literally at the beginning of this live stream had put your information out there, like, if people are seeing that, they could then decide, like, what I wonder if will work if I do this. I'm just gonna try something. People then could decide, like, for example, does this switch it to live chat? No, it doesn't. That didn't work. Okay, sorry, I got distracted. Okay, you have proof. Great. Because I was about to say, because you know how at the beginning of this live stream, you you were posting your address and your name and everything, like if you had posted that previously, his legal response would be able to be like, look, this is where he posted it before. But if you can prove that he doxed you before you ever posted that, then I think you would potentially have a valid case. I don't know the statute of limitations on it or if that's up, but yeah, you're right. You could have a valid case there.
a little different. He doesn't necessarily flirt with them. He likes younger women, which means he's a fucking predator to young women. And that's the most disgusting part of his predatory behavior. So I don't play with that shit because I'm a grown woman now and I do grown woman shit. And anything I can do to help any other little girl not experience some shit like that, I'm gonna have to do it. And I will not cry about it. I guarantee you that. I won't blink. I
That's why I was
will
hoping you
smile
would
and
record
skip
this.
my ass into that prison cell.
That's why I'm
Because
wanting you to. That's why I'm wanting you to record.
So, JT saying that he did post that before and that he has all the evidence. Well, if I were you, if that was something that you did want to take legal action on, then that is something you should do. If that is something that feels right to you, if you think that would help stop him from doing that to other people, but yeah, it's up to you. At the same time, if you think he's working to be a better person now, then perhaps you could extend to him the same grace that was given to you, where charges were not pressed on you, but they could have been. So it could be, like taking it like that. You can decide for yourself where you think it should go with that, depending on his pattern of behavior that you have seen. So yeah, I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but if you are going to take legal action, then you need to look up the statute of limitations to see if that exists or if that has passed in your state for this.
well, it's already recorded. It's playback. As long as we watch our language, the live won't get taken down. So you can't mention names too much because they'll be reporting as much as possible, because once it's reported, you can't use the footage, but you have to give TikTok a reason to take it down. So actually, I'm gonna restart it. Let's do that because
Okay.
All right.
And I think right there where she's talking on is when you're making certain statements without proof, then that can then be reported for like bullying and shit on TikTok and everything like that. So I think that is potentially what she is talking about there. Let me turn off this captioner thing. But yeah, I think that's all I've got time for today, just because I do need to go get dinner going. If anything, if I see anything else that I feel like, is worth covering related to what we've already kind of discussed, then I'll definitely, oh shit, you know what? Okay, I just saw one more video I want to go through. Okay, my bad. Oh, so in the chat here, we see, that JT said he struggles because he knows that Mateo is a father. Well, I think, considering what the impact would be for the kids is always, noble to do, but at the same time, whether or not someone has kids doesn't impact the harm of what they've done. And it's like, you know what I mean? So if you see him continuing to do that to others and you have proof he did it to you, then I would consider doing it. But if you don't think he's doing it to others and you think he's learning, then maybe you give him the same grace you got. But theoretically, I think it's one thing to reflect on when or if to press a charge sometimes as it relates to what does that mean for the kids. But at the end of the day, like if you did something, I feel you should be charged for it. Have y'all kept up with the Adelson murder charges? Hold on. So the Dan Markel was a law professor, and the Adelson family, he had a bitter divorce with his ex-wife Wendy, and his murder was arranged. So Donna plotted with her son Charlie, who got his girlfriend. Her girlfriend's got her baby daddy involved, and they also got another person they knew involved. And so there was a legal case, and it ended up getting proven. And 4 people have been convicted so far in the conspiracy of murder of Dan Markel. Well, Dan Markel's ex-wife's mother, her brother's ex-girlfriend, and another hitman were already all convicted. So a lot of people are like, is Wendy next? And there are rumors that the only reason Wendy hasn't been charged yet is, well, first of all, getting these convictions done, which paves the way to get her convicted. But also, they wonder if part of that was also so that, because, like, if Wendy's convicted and the dad is dead, that means the kids would go into the system, because, you know, unless the grandparents could take them, which I bet they would. But some people are wondering, like, are the kids being factored into the decision of when to press charges, or if to press charges against Wendy Adelson, right? But a lot of people do believe that Wendy Adelson should have charges pressed against her based on a lot of the evidence that came out in the other cases were the convictions against Donna, Charles, Sigfredo, and Catherine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to a point, I understand how people can take into account the children when it comes to justifying if they're going to do any charges. But on another point, I feel like, yeah. To another point, I feel like, you know, you gotta hold people accountable for their choices, even if they have kids. You know, like, they should have thought about their fucking kids before they did the thing, right? Like, that's my opinion. But if it was an intentional thing they did, you know. Yeah, JT said he could never take a life, and even in self-defense, he couldn't. Yeah. I don't think anyone truly knows if they could or couldn't take a life in self-defense until they're at that point. But theoretically, in general, I don't think I could go through with something like that either, because, well, first of all, I'm very squeamish. I hate blood. I hate all of that. So I'd probably fucking faint before I could even do the damn thing, even if I wanted to. But second of all, it's just like, that's just not, you know, like, I understand anger, but not that.
That's it.
So apparently this right here says some more random receipts on KB is what random KB receipts is what this video is titled as. I figured, you know what, I was about to wrap up, but I feel like this is one more thing I can make some time for right now. Let's watch this little video before we wrap up completely today. Let's see what this is.
Cash App. He'll do it right now for any emotional.
Where's the
That's the cash up right
If their
there. That's the
friendship
cash
is
up right there. See
over,
it?
like if their
Gonzo
friendship is
Cultus
over
7.
because he betrayed the friendship because he did a screenshot for like 2 times afterward, then the friendship is over.
Look, that's
He's
the
obviously not forgetting. But seriously,
okay.
like,
That's the cash up right there. $sign Gonzo Cultus 7. Send the money there.
bullshit, dude. We don't know that's her
That's it,
account.
bro. That's
No.
Gonzo Cultus 7. That's her.
No, she
telling
can
you, bro.
DM him and with the cash app.
Just squash it right there. Fucking
Hey, what account was that came in though?
Which one?
What account that was that came in? The one that came in and put up an address.
I don't know.
Mr. John. Oh, the ad.
I'm trying to understand what's happening here, but the overlay, it says fraud. It says Mateo has always asked $20 per screenshot, and he says that's the cash app right there. We'll squash it right there. Send the money right there. And I'm making sure it's her right account, but Mateo is giving instructions to send and whatever else it said was cut off. But it says fraud over here, and it says again the video where Mateo says to use the cash app in the chat. Fraud. I don't know what's fraudulent about it, but
you can.
God damn it!
He'll do it.
I guess we're rewatching it. Fuck it, because I don't know where we left off. I don't know what's fraudulent about it, but yeah, I think it is sketchy to say $20 per screenshot if you want to see something, you know. But if he doesn't show the screenshot and he's charging people, making people pay to see something that they don't get, then I guess that's technically fraud, if that's what you mean. I don't know what happened here. But yeah, alright, hold on. Let's just rewatch this, fuck.
But right now, for any emotional
Where's the
hurt,
That's the cash up
if
right
their
there. That's the
friendship
cash up
is
right there. See
over,
it?
like if their
Gonzo
friendship is
Cultist
over
7.
because he betrayed the friendship because he did a screenshot for like 2 times afterward, then the friendship is over.
Look,
Because
look, that's
he's
the
obviously not
that's the
forgetting. But seriously,
okay. That's
like
the cash up right there. $ Gonzo Cultist 7. Send the money there.
bullshit, dude. We don't know that's her
That's it,
account.
bro. That's
No,
Gonzo Cultist 7. That's her.
no,
I'm
she
telling
can
you, bro.
DM him and with the cash app.
Just squash it right there. Fucking
Hey, what account was that came in though?
Which one?
What account that was that came in? The one that came in and put up an address.
I don't know.
Mr. John.
Scroll up.
Oh, the address? It was like some Chinese somebody.
No. What? Yeah, who was that? I want to make sure we got that.
Be a better version of herself. Oh, the address? It was like some Chinese somebody.
No. What? Yeah, who was that? I want to make sure we got that.
Sorry, I was trying to get here to pause this. So then this says, from somebody, it says, I think it's best to just avoid one another. If she has felt harm, she doesn't want anything to do with you. It looks like someone is tagged named Recipe King, as well as, looks like Mateo is tagged, I think. And then it says, I don't know anyone involved, but I know her, that's her cash app, Gonzo Cultist 7, I don't know. And someone else says you're on here catfishing each other with these crazy filters. I don't know what this is in reference to. But John Allen says that this was her background, not his, and it's the fact that they were limping lucid out. I don't know what you mean by that.
Be a better version of herself. What woman goes off and tries to put down another woman for that?
That's interesting coming from KB, because we've seen the recent live streams on KB where she puts down women generally, you know, like she was degrading Carmen for being with Manny, in my opinion. She was degrading, in my opinion, a bunch of women, telling them to shut the fuck up, that they were bitches, etc. I don't know. And then, in my opinion, kind of co-signing the concept of calling CPS potentially, you know, like there was just a lot of problematic things, which she did deny, but also was doubling down on at the same time. It was interesting to see. Yeah, but this is interesting.
You know.
You know, it's crazy because it's not just one of them doing it. It's all of them doing it. All the crazies over there, like Archangel, Native Mamas. They do this collectively. It's not one person or one woman having one personal issue one-on-one. That's
So, mind you, this happened before anything went down. I wasn't speaking to Andrew at all this time. But the way he speaks to them is very much, in my opinion, just like how he was talking about Isla and I, in my opinion. Very similar. But yeah. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a meme that KB is reminding me of.
not how they do it. That's not how they do it. Talika. They sit behind the computer doxing people, literally. You know what I mean? They do it collectively. It's not one person the way they attack. You know what I mean? So who's attacking women? They're doing it. They're doing it in the worst possible way to the extreme.
Okay.
That right there, that's anti-indigenous. The Wobbles don't even do that. They're attacking indigenous people. The Wobbles don't even do that. Where's the energy for them? Where's the energy for the colonizer? Why you ain't doxing them when they're over here taking your kids away? Why you ain't protesting that? You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like it's fucking weird to me. I never seen it in any other app. I've been on Facebook for years. I've been in groups with the Mono tribe, plenty of groups on Facebook. Never had an issue with my people. Never had an issue with even neighboring tribes. Like there's some Chechen.
I think this is interesting because, you know, it has come out that a lot of people may not be claiming him. when it comes to the tribal chairman and members of the Mono tribe. So I don't, if that's true, then that's interesting. He's making this statement now. And there's allegations that he may have forged his potential tribal ID as well. And if that's the case, that's just wild. Um, and JT is saying that it's just his deflection. And I do agree, like it's been discussed a lot, you know, how they have this pattern.
Antis in there. There's some Tachis in there. There's some Table Mountains in there. There's some Yokuts in there. All even down to Sacramento. Even some Miwats in there. In those Snapchats. Never had an issue. Never had a problem until I came onto TikTok. That's the truth. Never seen it before, because when it's amongst your, you know, from where you're from, we get it. But when you come into this app with all these broken down people, which never even stepped foot on California turf, but they want to tell you how indigenous people operate here, that shit makes no fucking zero sense at all. Zero. You know what I mean?
That I allegedly contacted her, and immediately they're assuming it's this one person, the person that I was talking to.
Man, I can't find the fucking meme I was looking for. But, so here the overlay, it's got like an image, and it's got like Luna reposting Moni, reposting KB, which is interesting to see. I don't know. Or something like that. Or KB doing that. I don't know. But it's got on the background that message that KB may have sent to Moni, I believe, that says Mono and Leonard were planning on abducting an 8-year-old or something like that, is what it said, if I'm not mistaken. And it says, imagine you say to someone about this and you turn around and hang out with them again. So yeah, it's addressing that. It looks like she put that on her big screen.
And her DM says, hey, are you interested in women? Will you F me and my boyfriend? That this is what this DM says. And I'm like, damn, I never claimed this person as my boyfriend. This whole time, I've never said this person is my boyfriend. So
I think what she's talking about are what came out in the last few live streams that I did on this situation. But allegedly, potentially, possibly, if it's true, KB may have been asking somebody for a threesome, and there was screenshots shown. I'll have to go look for it, but there was a screenshot shown where if it was KB actually sending those messages, then yeah, like it's believed she did say that, which is interesting. That I think she's denying it now here. Yeah, JT says this is a repost on top of a repost on top of a repost. Just like I'll be doing a live stream of a live stream in another live stream while they're live streaming me. Yeah.
But I wouldn't even write that. I wouldn't even have said that because he wasn't my boyfriend, you know? That's not me. Another thing, that DM that I saw, I don't have it anymore, but it's the...
Jose said it's repostception.
This DM that they're saying that I contacted her asking for this 3, you know, to hook up with me and my boyfriend, which I never claimed this guy he was my boyfriend because he was never my boyfriend. I only talked to him for like a week and a half.
Oh god damn it, I just realized I was muted. All I said was we're just gonna pause and check this real quick because I do believe I can confirm that you know, she did send this message. So right here she says I have a BF too. I have a boyfriend too. So she's denying haven't sent this message, but people are claiming she did send this message. You know what I'm saying? So let me just. And in this message, this person is responding to a message from KB that says, "Would you be interested in women?" And their answer was, "I'm bi, but I have a boyfriend." Which is interesting because we rewatched a video where I felt like KB was making some very biphobic and queerphobic statements. And I think it's interesting, you know, how there's just like this running stereotype that a lot of people who are extremely homophobic, it's because they. So y'all can see there, you know, where she did say that, make this claim, you know, in the threesome situation. So that right there is what KB is now denying having said here. But I believe that the evidence could show otherwise, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
And these women know that I never claimed him as my boyfriend, so I wouldn't have said that. Now the DM that I have up here is something that this group of women made up, fabricated, and put together, like that I said, okay? Like they made this up, that I said this in a DM.
So this is word for word what they're saying now when I show evidence and proof of what happened and what was said in the Snapchat group I was in, as well as text messages and things like that. This is word for word what they're saying. Even though I can prove what was said, they claim I'm fabricating it. Even though I can prove the metadata, they claim I'm fabricating. Word for word. And so this message didn't occur between me, so obviously I don't know the chain of information there, but you do see KB Do You Love Me at the top of the screen here. And if this message, you know, if this is KB, like, yeah, this does look like it could be evidence that does contradict what KB is now claiming in this live stream here that we are watching, which I find quite fascinating.
That I said Mono and this Thunder Horse were planning on abducting an 8-year-old. They're trying to say that I said this. But if you notice the username, that's not my username. KB blank, do you love me? That's not my username. I have that emoji.
I have seen her username change. I know it's gone from KB to KB Do You Love Me to various versions of that with and without emojis. If that was not her, if it is possible that someone was impersonating her, it has happened on this app before where people do impersonate each other. That is a possibility. However, I have also seen her deny she was in the Snapchat group that I know she was in, and I know it was her because she was on those calls and I know it was her. So I feel that could go either way, but because she gaslit me on her being in the same call I was in when I know she was there and I know I talked to her, I am less inclined to believe her from that experience with her.
I have those emojis. And TikTok is very specific with your username. No one can duplicate your username, correct? Mm-hmm. Right. If you try to add it, someone else.
She's right now claiming this is a TikTok situation where no one can duplicate your username. But this right here, what we're looking at, that message, that's not how TikTok messages look. That's exactly how Snapchat messages look. I believe that's a Snapchat message, not a TikTok message. And you can change with relative ease your nickname on Snapchat. And I believe multiple people can potentially have similar nicknames. Like there's a difference between like your handle, I believe, versus like the nickname or the username, if that makes sense or whatever, versus what shows up. So mine happens to basically be the same, just one has a space, you know, but yeah, you can yeah, and you can even see the way it says add, like it does look like Snapchat, is what JT Allen is also saying. Like, it's definitely Snapchat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think, so here she's claiming this couldn't be her because of JT Allen. I mean, not because of JT Allen, because of TikTok. I'm over here thinking of that dude just commenting, but whatever, fucking, yeah, but it's like clear as day, you know.
already has that username. You cannot. You've got to come up with a new one. You cannot create an account. Every person has an individual username. So the DM that Lucid and Mateo have of saying that I was asking this for me and my boyfriend from Lucid, that's not my DM.
So here she's claiming that this isn't her DM, as well as what I think she's also saying, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let you decide for yourself what you think is true.
I became a little closer with Lucid on Snapchat, just like friends. Let me tell you something else. I was never attracted to Lucid textually. Never, ever. I really wanted to befriend her, you know?
Why didn't you?
I tried. This was my point. This is my next point. Through Snapchat, I was like, you know, her friend. I was talking to her. She told me about her business and stuff like that. Then I seen her in Mateo's live, and she was like, oh, this is my safe place. Whenever I have a bad day, this is where I come. This is where I come to vent. Because they have treated me so nice from the beginning. This is where I come to vent. I went in to say hello, and this woman acted like she didn't know me. And I was like, really? You're going to act like you don't know me? Because I'm not hanging out with them, and I'm not there, or whatever it is that you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She showed her true colors.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't talk to me. And I have a witness when this happened. Because I was like, I went to my friend, I was like, remember that? You know what Lou said? I said, this is what she did. I said, she acted like she didn't even know me. I talked to her. She acted like she didn't know me. She showed her true colors. Lucid is not interested in making friends with women. Lucid likes men. She likes men because, not that she would like women, but she doesn't want girlfriends. She doesn't want friends as women. And so when she did that,
Like, why would try at this point? Because, yeah, I feel like the evidence here kind of contradicted, you know, what was said here, if I'm not mistaken, if that's the same thing she's referring to, you know? But yeah, all right. I think now for real, I gotta end this thing. So, just to kind of recap, today, we kind of talked about a lot. We were a bit all over the place, but basically we discussed, you know, why I don't think that JT Allen is the same guy that was found guilty as the other charges related to child pornography or pedophilia. I don't think that's the same JT Allen from Native Spaces, based on all of the public information available. Not only him doxing himself, but also the public records and the court records available. None of that matches up to be him. So I don't think it's him. If y'all have any evidence to prove me wrong, please let me know. That will get covered. But until then, I am going to go with I don't think that's him. As it relates to, you know, holding him accountable for his confession, which he has been trying to hold himself accountable for the last couple years at least, if not more than 2, maybe 3 years now. You know, it's up to you to decide if you feel safe around him. It's up to you to decide how you would want him to be held accountable, if you feel like he still needs further accountability held and things like that, you know. So if anyone does have anything to say about something like that, or things that he has actually done, then go right ahead. Say whatever the fuck you want. Have whatever opinion you want. But I just don't agree with people spreading misinformation about what charges may or may not have been pressed against him. Yeah, that's not something that I could co-sign either. So we also went over some more of his videos. We went through we also went through some legal records related to the situation that he did admit related to Kriss, so where he made the fake AI nude about her. So we went over the legal information available to us online about what could the legal ramifications of that case be if Kriss had decided to take legal action, which so far she has not chosen to do. I don't know if she still can or not. I think she could, potentially, if I'm not wrong, but maybe I am. But anyway, and from there, we went and we explored more of the information available on the Just Nobody page. We did watch another Don Chuy live stream that had Harley or Tajuana in there. I actually didn't, like, I had some criticisms about some things that were said in that live stream, but I actually don't know if that specific live stream happened to really give us any more information related to things. I just kind of watched it because it was there. We also watched the live streamer, somebody whose name is not published, spoke out against Mono and the altercation with that. We also looked at what JT Allen had to say in a confession about his actions as well. We also, in 2 different videos, not only in the live stream Rae reaction we watched, but also in the other reaction we saw where he was trying to take some accountability and acknowledge these issues. And we also looked at the ID he posted of himself to confirm who he was, because people were claiming he was a different John Allen. So he posted his own ID to prove he's not the same person as that. And we had, I think I mentioned this, but yeah, it was the video response about those things that we watched related to as well. I think that's all we covered today. You know, we just kind of looked at some a little bit of what we had some time for today, kind of related to everything. But yeah, fucking we're here now. That took a bit more time than I thought it would. We also kind of covered some other random topics, but I'll try to link some of that information in the description of the video below. For example, I am still troubleshooting my chat overlay thing. We looked at also a little bit about the history of indigenous colonialism and genocide through the map as a visual. Yeah, we talked in that live stream. They were discussing like anemia and shit because they're negating Kiki's lupus. So we talked about anemia. We ended up kind of getting to also somehow the conversation went to the avatar situation. So we addressed that as well, because why the fuck not? And then when it comes to the concept of pressing charges on somebody you know that is a parent for something that they did wrong, we addressed that as well using the Adelson family murder of Dan Markel as an example. And I'll try to remember to link all of those links below later, and I also need to remember to link the Tajuana playlist later too, because that ended up more relevant today than I thought it would. I think I might end up making a playlist like on KB and on Got the Bella, etc., just to kind of categorize and document the specific videos I've done on them as well, maybe. But yeah, coming up, I'm going to get back to more Monopoly coverage on the Google lawsuits with the Monopoly case. I'm going to get back to the How to Start a Startup playlist. More marketing material is coming, but also on this side where it comes to addressing some of the issues in indigenous community and on TikTok. Next up, Manny did request that we cover him, so I do plan on addressing some of those videos as well. But yeah. Oh, and here we have JT saying he needs a new phone because his battery is drained again. That's unfortunate, yeah. I need a new phone too. But yeah, thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate you guys. We're just going to see what shakes out of all of this. If there are any updates to cover, I'll cover them. But for now, I think we kind of starting to really wrap this up, I feel, finally. But yeah. And Jose says that TikTok is an interesting place indeed. I fully agree. So yeah, but before I completely go, if there is anything y'all want to see, I can pull it up real quick before I leave. But I am about to end this stream. I'm gonna go just kind of prep some dinner. I need to timestamp things. I don't think I ever approved the comments on my page. I need to do that. Thank you, Jose. I hope you have a great time. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. And thank you. I hope you have a good night as well. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good one. And yeah, I'm going to end this bitch And yeah, good night, y'all. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.